Welcome to episode 7 of the Kori J podcast.
What's poppin'?
I got a couple guests joining the show today. We got my man's Killah Bran, repping the Bulls. The Chigerian is on the show today.
Yo.
And we got my man's Millz, a new guest to the show. So
Mike, man.
it's definitely going to be interesting. Y'all don't want to miss this. So the topics we're going to be discussing today, we got to talk about Jimmy Butler and everything that happened with the Timberwolves over this past week.
Keep that same energy.
Hallelujah.
Hell yeah. So we're going to talk about the most overrated player in the league. There's definitely going to be some controversial takes on that.
Definitely.
The most underrated player in the league. I got some good topics for that one as well. And then we're going to get into some teams that we think may miss the playoffs, especially in the loaded West this year. So let's just jump into the podcast. I'm excited. So let's get it going.
True.
Jimmy Butler, man. He he did some crazy stuff this week. If y'all don't know, he came into practice this week at the Minnesota Timberwolves practice, and he beat the starting lineup with third stringers. You know,
Allegedly.
He beat the starting lineup with third stringers. He got the guys from the D League and guys that just got into the league and smoked Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. And he told them about themselves. He told them they were soft and everything else he wanted to tell them. So Jimmy Butler, he definitely was the star of the show this week, with him demanding a trade out of Minnesota. Now, the reports say that Jimmy demanded a trade actually 4 days after the season started. So I think that's a Tom Thibodeau issue with him not being willing to trade Jimmy Butler.
That sounds like Tom.
Exactly.
That definitely sounds like Tom.
Right. So Thibodeau knew this a long time ago that Jimmy wanted to be traded, but it seemed like now, right before the season started, the whole Jimmy situation is starting to fire up even more. So let's get this started. Start with the Chigerian. What do you think about the whole Jimmy situation?
It's a little fishy overall because, first of all, if you request a trade 4 days after, we got Woj bombs for days.
We do.
That ain't come out this entire summer. So that just seemed a little fishy to me, number one. Number two, I'm just going to get it out there. I just thought Jimmy wasn't that player to be going at players like this the way he's doing anyway.
Even if he beat the starting lineup with them.
But that says more about the team rather than Jimmy to me, because first of all, Wiggins get no better every year. He's been in the league consistently. Now his numbers, garbage buckets, that we just gonna say that in general, they kept getting better, but once he got there, people say Jimmy started ball hogging and things like that, but he's not a complimentary player at all. He didn't get no better with any type of moves. He didn't get no more strength. He still can't dribble from his rookie season. So I just feel like he's just been coasting and collecting a check. So it's not that hard for Jimmy to show up that type of player. Second, now he may have got the best of Towns on some plays, but I know he didn't dominate Towns.
You think so?
They don't really have a forceful point guard. Jeff Teague is past his prime. So let's say he's from the pick and roll, and then Towns can't get the ball the next possession, and then Jimmy just been dominating the game. I can see them winning the game because they only got two quote unquote stars with Wiggins and him. But if you got a superstar filling it, giving him the ball every time, and they already technically not trying to get in his face and things like that, they're just gonna let him score. So I wasn't really impressed as much per se with the third string because they starting lineup got Gordon Jang.
Well, we got Derrick Rose too.
Right.
The Southtown native Derrick Rose.
Jimmy team though, low key.
You think he's on Jimmy
Because
team?
that's the thing. We don't know who was on what because
Right.
technically he's on the second unit, but he's starting because of, like Luol Deng, for example. He don't really play in the preseason, but he will probably be in the second unit when they start playing. So it just depended who was playing with who. But yeah, I wasn't really impressed on that. But lastly, I'd just like to say the only reason I think the trade hasn't went through is because they got to get a third team involved. There's no way I'm giving a A- player away for Josh Richardson in the first and Dion Waiters. No disrespect Dion Waiters, but like he kind of look fat like this.
He does. Right?
This
Yeah.
in these pictures. So like I would see that. So Josh Richardson, he's a solid player in the first, But that first wasn't unprotected.
I thought it was Josh, Bam, and somebody.
No,
he don't want to give up on
they
that.
don't wanna give up Bam.
They're trying to keep either one, Josh Richardson or Bam Abadao. So that's their two best assets to me. So I agree with Chigerian. They might have to get a third team involved. Or maybe Miami's just not the team. Because honestly, if you look at Miami roster, they got a lot of contracts that extend past the next season. You know what I'm saying? They got Tyler Johnson, a guy who I think is overpaid. They still got Goran Dragic under a long-term contract. So James Johnson, these are all decent players. James Johnson, Tyler Johnson, Dragic, but Miami doesn't have a lot of star power. So I understand why they try to trade for a guy like Jimmy Butler. Because I think he fits their culture. You know what I'm saying? But what do y'all think?
My first reaction when I heard the Jimmy debacle was, that sound like Jimmy. Like, I mean, when he was in Chicago, it was like rumors of tension between him and players, him and Joakim Noah, or you know, him in the front office. So it's not nothing that is out of the realm of possibility. As far as like him requesting a trade and we just hearing about it right before the season, that's typical Tom Thibodeau. Like, he's a stubborn person. Like, if you follow Bleacher Report, you can see how they said him and Pat Riley had a deal, and at the last second, he called back like, let me get some more picks. Like, come on,
But
bro.
you see how that came out, even just a number one conversation between two
But
individuals.
that's comment. That's more like public knowledge. A trade is gonna be public knowledge. As far as him requesting a trade, I feel like that's more backdoor. More him in between, like just between him and Tibbs, like not the whole, you know what I'm saying, GM.
Yeah, that's true.
But honestly, I just feel like it's kind of typical of both. But if I had to, one thing I did take away from that is just like the Timberwolves are not going nowhere regardless. So it's like you might as well either trade him and try to get some young pieces back so y'all can build towards being something.
Right.
Or, I mean, shit, that's really the only option.
Honestly, if you keep him, like, I don't see where they go from here. He's made it clear he's going to leave next summer anyway.
Exactly.
So they don't have any incentive to keep Jimmy. What you think, Killah Bran?
He's not even a one. I would have been trading him.
You think Jimmy's overrated?
Way overrated to me.
Brandon been thinking this for a while.
I've been saying this for the longest.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is trash.
I
mean,
feel like
to
he
me,
can get
trash.
into the second round, though.
I don't think so. I don't think he getting any. I don't know.
'Cause, like,
not
this-
Jimmy. Like,
this-
I think Carl Towns gonna have to step up if they gonna get to the second round. I don't think Jimmy is gonna carry him to the second round. I got more faith in Derrick Rose bringing him to the second
Oh, wait,
round.
time out. Before he got injured, it was like the 4th seed. So if
They
they
were
playing
the
against the 8th
They
seed,
feel over there.
They did fall, but
well, if they playing against the 5th seed, you don't think
I think the
Timberwolves can be 5th
Timberwolves
seed?
is nice. I said that before. I thought the Timberwolves was nice. I still felt like they'd
With
be
Jimmy.
4th seed again, you know, with Jimmy on the team. But I don't think Jimmy makes that much of a difference to me. I feel like I would trade him for young talent like that.
But what does Jimmy do well besides play hard?
He,
I don't
he's
even
a
know if
great
he
two-way player. I
He
think.
has a
See,
mid-range, bro. His
that-
mid-range is solid.
That two-way stuff, I don't even know about that no more. Like, yeah, he started off
He
the
was
two-way
getting cooked
player,
by Hard.
but he's been getting cooked.
He was
lately.
cooked.
I don't think defense is defense no more. Honestly, like James Harden, if it's looking like he's playing good defense, it's just the scheme of the NBA now. It's no more you fighting through the pick. It's no, you switch, and after you switch, who you got on you? A center or like a point guard as a big man? So it's like,
Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
go
not
by
really
how
defense.
You
to
go
me.
by how the team. You can always play good defense though when you want to. Like you can't. I'm not gonna take away from what you see what Kawhi do. I mean, he finds a
Yeah,
way.
he
He finds a way.
Draymond
I mean,
Green.
it
Even
depends on how hard
PG,
you want to
he
play.
had a lot of steals last year.
That one,
Rudy
that-
Gobert, you know, these are great defenders.
That one stretch when I finally actually seen this man play defense for real in a while. That one stretch in the fourth quarter when the Thunder was playing the Rockets, y'all seen? I remember that game when Russ started locking up Harden, like he was actually playing.
So last year? Or
Yeah.
They played in the playoff last year.
No, but this wasn't a playoff game. This
That
was
was
like
a
a
playoff.
primetime game.
Oh, primetime.
It was like a
Oh,
So
primetime game.
it's like he just turned up. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, why don't you just play like this? Obviously, you'd be tired, but it's like, you know, people can still play real defense.
But I see what Mike's saying though, because
Yeah.
they even got this new
Yeah,
rule
it's a lot of
for
switch, bro.
freedom of movement. And fouls are up, I think, like 7 or 8 fouls a game.
Have y'all seen the preseason?
It's a lot of fouls.
It's a lot of fouls.
Now, I don't think it's gonna be like that in the regular season, but I think they're trying to set this.
What?
I think they're trying to set the tone, though. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I want to
You
see.
shouldn't be able to celebrate.
Right. Jason Tatum dunked LeBron in the playoffs. He gave him a little
Yeah,
check.
like,
Walked away.
That should be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's part of the competitive atmosphere. But
What you supposed to just walk away? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
I'm like, what?
so, do y'all think? I mean, other than the Miami Heat, what do y'all think, Jimmy Butler? What is an ideal destination
I
for him?
did have two names written down. The first one I had, and who I think can give probably the best package, would be the Toronto Raptors. I think if you pair Jimmy with a defensive, two-way player like Kawhi, I mean, the sky's the limit to me because Kawhi can score. He can go get 30.
Yeah,
So if you got two wings that stick and D like that, y'all can make some noise. Because when you're going to go against the Celtics, like that's what it's finna come down to.
You include Lowry in the deal?
No, you give up Danny Green, you give up Van Fleet, you give up Anunoby. I'm sorry,
OG, just OG.
OG, and you give up a draft pick, and you get back Jimmy.
All
So
of
you giving up OG?
Hold on. Let
You
me
maybe could get Jimmy and a scrub from the Timberwolves.
let me just remind
That's a
you
lot.
of what
Or
Jimmy
second
Butler
pick.
just got
Second round
traded
pick.
for. What was it? Chris Dunn.
He got traded for Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and Laurie Marketing. Now, it looks like a lot right now because but at the time,
Right.
we thought the Bulls lost. Well, a lot of people thought the Bulls lost the trade because it didn't seem like they got back a lot for a superstar at the time, Jimmy Butler. But
Right.
looking at it in hindsight now, the Bulls really won the trade.
It was they won the trade. It was a lucky one trade, like Spurs and Toronto. Let's think about this. If Toronto finds a way to keep Kawhi, then they luckily won that trade. But right now, they lost that trade by a mile. To me.
for sure.
But if they find a way to keep him,
The other team I had was New Orleans.
Ooh,
Okay.
I ain't heard. Go ahead. For who?
For who though?
So for New Orleans, I tried my hardest, but I think you might have to include Drew Holiday. Sad to say.
Nah,
you can't do that.
That ain't happening.
I mean, who else do they have though?
That's what I'm saying. They don't have a lot to trade.
I give up
They got Julius Randle.
I mean, you could give up Julius Randle.
No, you can't give up.
Don't nobody
He
want.
can't be traded to December. Anyway,
That's what I'm saying. So the only other person is, I mean, what?
That's
Nico?
give up Julius.
They don't want Nico.
Yeah, I can't see him.
so
But look, a solid trade would be Jimmy for Drew Holiday in the draft pick. That's solid.
I mean, that's a solid trade, but
is it really a solid
ain't a-
trade
that's
though?
not a-
Because
it's not a-
they give up on the Pelican side. They get a player to play in New Orleans for a year, and he can go wherever he wants. And Anthony Davis may be
But what
gone.
is New Orleans gonna do? Like,
they're not gonna
they,
do that.
Hey, I think
They
New Orleans
not
gonna
doing
lose
Like
Anthony
for
Davis.
example, and this is a little bit off subject, but they'll be better off playing the season and getting all those young people in a draft asset than giving up their star player, their second star, to be paired with Anthony Davis, and he just leave. At
that
least-
would be logical. But just for the sake of conversation, I just
But the team I had was the Clippers.
Yeah.
Now, the
what
Clippers,
would they give up?
I don't think Tobias is that guy to.
You tweaking.
I like Tobias Harris a lot.
I like Tobias Harris a lot. I don't think he's that guy to make it a free agent destination. So me and Kori was having a conversation on the side. Like, if you got Jimmy and Tobias, somebody immediately gonna want to come. Tobias, he is a solid player, but I just don't think that's like makes the Clippers relevant. Now, Jimmy Butler and cap space, that may also do it, but I think they have the assets to get a star right now.
This is what I would ask you though.
Uh-huh.
You give up whatever you give up on the Clippers. Does that stop Kawhi from potentially coming in next year?
No, I think
They got cap space.
they got cap space to sign both.
They
of
got
them.
a to find two max
star
players.
And the
Right.
thing with that is the Clippers with Tobias and Jimmy would actually would actually prevent Kawhi to want to go because he don't know where he fit in because
it's already two fours.
It's already two fours, and they had a bird rights to Tobias Harris. If they get rid of Tobias Harris, then you keep Lou Williams and you get Jimmy Butler, and then you go get Kawhi.
So that's what you give up with Tobias though. It won't be just
I would
Tobias.
say Jerome Robinson. This guy they drafted this year in the first round.
You don't gotta give up.
I think that would be enough. I mean, to me, Tobias Harris is a really good player.
But this is to get Jimmy, and that was a free agent destination. He wanted to.
But does that make the Clippers better?
Right.
But it wouldn't have an indication to get another guy though. It don't make them no better with Tobias too though. They ain't going nowhere.
But I don't think anybody's going to play with Jimmy Butler. Like, who wants to go play with Jimmy Butler?
So do you think Jimmy is kind of like a locker room? I mean, I know Millz kind of talked about it with the Bulls. It was widely reported, him and Derrick Rose had some issues together in the locker room. Allegedly, Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler didn't necessarily get along. It's a lot of owners around the league that feel that Jimmy just wants to be the guy. He has a big ego, and he's not the easiest player to have in your organization. I mean, this is his second team now, and it's kind of the same stuff that happened in Chicago, where Jimmy feels like he's the alpha dog and he should be the guy of the franchise. And what I've heard a lot about the Jimmy Butler situation is most of it was based on the contract. The Wolves didn't want to give Jimmy Butler the supermax deal of $190 million, and they didn't want to commit long-term to Jimmy Butler. So from Jimmy Butler's perspective, he's thinking, if you're saying I'm the best, I'm the guy for this franchise, and you don't want to pay me that supermax deal, why should I be here? Mm-hmm. So I think that was kind of the incentive for him to ask for the trade to begin with. You know what I'm saying? With that being contract.
With that being said, on two angles though, Jimmy Butler and a Derrick Rose situation that you briefly touched on. D Rose and the 2015, the last time they played well together, right, was when they got knocked out by Cleveland because Paul Gasol didn't play and all that stuff.
And then LeBron
the leading driving force of that series was D Rose. The next season, Jimmy became the man.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. Then they missed the playoffs. So Jimmy has always been this guy who thought he was better than what he is. Great talent, but he's never been a true number one. With that being said,
I don't think Jimmy has a crossover, bro.
He don't. He
has no moves.
It's being ready to say this all the time. He got no moves.
I always used to say this. Jimmy is a great football player who plays basketball. Like that's to me, that's what he looked like. Somebody who played football but can hoop.
That just hoops.
Yeah,
no moves at all.
I don't know if y'all seen what Kevin Garnett said. He kind of echoed the same sentiments y'all said. Kevin Garnett basically said Jimmy don't have the juice to be doing what he's doing, and demanding these type of trades and trying to be like, you guys, he is reported allegedly that he said to the Minnesota Timberwolves GM, you guys need me, you know what I'm saying? You can't win without me, basically.
One thing I would say though is why aren't the Timberwolves looking to move Wiggins though?
Because they paid his contract.
He already got paid
untradeable
money.
His contract is untradeable.
Yeah.
For his production.
It's like trying to change J.R. Smith. Like, ain't nobody.
It seems like the Kings. It seems like the Kings who need.
They don't.
But it's the point. Why trade? First of all, you the Kings. To trade for Wiggins, you got to give up. The trade wouldn't even make sense.
You can give up.
It wouldn't make sense. It ain't gonna make you better.
You're gonna give up Andrew Wiggins for Andrew Wiggins.
Basically, he's owed a lot of money.
Hey, that's the greatest analogy ever. Andrew Wiggins for Andrew Wiggins.
But yeah, that's what KC was basically saying. He kind of was basically saying Jimmy Butler is not as good as he think he is.
He needs to go to the Nets.
And he needs to kind of tone down his ego a little bit.
I ain't mad at that. Jimmy Butler on the Nets.
Yeah,
he'll be happy.
And that's another team.
He gonna have to.
Him and Russ.
I like Jared Allen. I like Spencer Dinwiddie.
I like they two guard.
They got Rodney Hollis-Jefferson, Carl LeVert.
I don't like Aaron. What's
Alan Crabb?
I don't like him.
But I think Jimmy will fit in with the Nets. But again, the thing I have a problem with the teams that Jimmy listed was the Clippers, the Nets, and what was the Knicks?
He listed the Nets.
Yeah, he listed the Nets as one of the teams that he would, I guess, supposedly sign a long-term.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's more of a wink-wink deal because he knows somebody gonna want to be like, hey, he played hard, I'll go play with it. Like this 2019 class, somebody gonna go wherever Jimmy is. If he don't,
think so?
if he go to another team, unless it's Miami because they don't have. If the team has cap space, they gonna go where Jimmy is.
The only player I saw teaming with him was Kyrie. And Kyrie is
Right.
on the market.
It seemed like Kyrie committed to Boston, you know what I'm saying?
He committed to
Yeah.
someone.
I can't see anybody, another star going to play with Jimmy, honestly.
My thing is interesting,
I
man.
don't know.
I don't know.
And what do y'all feel? It's been reported in some of the reports that Houston was trying to acquire Jimmy as well. Do y'all think it's worth it to
Houston
give
doing
up?
too much, man.
Yeah, but the Timberwolves want Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker. Y'all think that's too much?
First of all,
That's way
PJ Tucker.
Hold on.
Let's think about it just like this. PJ Tucker was the guy who just got thrown in to Toronto to be the LeBron stopper, and then the next year he was gone. So the fact that PJ Tucker,
You said LeBron stopper?
the fact that he's holding up a trade is laughable to me. But regardless, I wouldn't do the trade because it wouldn't help them in the short term or the long term.
I would.
So
Honestly,
you would trade Tucker and Gordon
I
for
would trade
for
PJ
Gordon and
Tucker
Tucker?
and Jimmy Butler for one simple reason. You only have one team
Chance to win.
that's ahead of you.
The Warriors.
And it's only one player who's doing it to y'all every rip. And that one player is KD.
Oh,
Who on the Rockets right now can stick KD?
Nobody, but
but when they trade for Jimmy, he can't stick him either.
He has a better chance than Eric
not
Gordon.
really.
He do, but
Gordon.
then they lose their bench corner.
You have
Well,
Melo.
Ariza was
Melo
guarding
can
him
come off
last.
the bench.
Play that motherfucking shit,
Hey, hold on.
Come off the bench.
Relax.
bro.
Carmelo,
Melo didn't come off the
Bro,
bench.
how many points he averaged in playoffs last year? He is washed.
Are you talking about with okay?
Bro, come on, bro.
Time out, bro. Do we have to save this clip and go back to this in the future?
Bro, he is washed.
So you think Carmelo would?
He gonna be like
Have you
this.
seen the preseason? They look good.
All right, hold on. Real quick. Was he washed?
Those are starter minutes.
Was he?
I will say,
Was he
listen,
washed his last?
last?
Was he washed his last season on the Knicks?
Nah, not.
No.
So
he
he just
wasn't
so
that-
happened to
he
get
wasn't that
washed
good.
when he played with
I don't
Ryan.
think he was that good on the
I'm
Knicks.
with you.
But I don't think he was that good on
Last
the
season on the
Knicks.
Knicks, he wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good, but he wasn't washed yet. But he showed his true colors.
Bro,
When
he
they
was-
can't play you in the playoffs because of defensive reasons, and the main way to beat Golden State is defense, that's
Well,
not
look,
the
that's what
formula,
I'm
bro.
saying, bro. He's not. If Jimmy come over there, he's not gonna be out there playing. He's gonna be out there spotting up and shooting or getting money with the second
But
unit.
you just said the best thing he do is mid range. He's not a good spot up shooter.
I didn't say that.
Houston.
Jimmy, you said
I said Jimmy.
yeah, the best thing he
But
do.
when you're playing against the
Warriors.
Warriors, you're not out there shooting mid range, bro. You're out there to defend Kevin Durant, bro. You out there to use your 6 fouls.
And this is the guy who wants to be the
Right,
man.
man.
So you
We
think
all
he's gonna
saying
He's not
adjust?
the man. He's not the man if he go to Houston.
Right, he won't be the man,
He won't be
but
the
do you
man,
think
bro.
he would accept his
Accept
role? in
that
Houston?
role.
I mean,
Yo,
I think
if
we
he
all
goes to a
agree.
team with the MVP. What
I
you
think
think?
he got.
What do you
I
think?
think Jimmy Butler got too many
Bro,
insecurities.
It seems like he got a high
it's
ego,
too many
man.
signs, Mike, for I get into it with D-Rose, I get into it with Cat. Now I'm going to
Then
get
you got
into it.
Harden and Chris
And
Paul.
Chris Paul, who've already had
Two guys
problems
that are
with
better than him.
stars with the bum Dwight Howard and Blake. Go ahead.
Melo, first off, he would be coming off the bench.
Okay.
And then it's like, if you're going to a team who has the reigning MVP, you're not finna go over there and be the MVP, bro. You finna go over there and do your job. Like,
Right. He gonna
what
have
do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
he ain't gonna have
understand
a
that,
choice.
but the way Jimmy gets buckets, right, is having the ball in his
but
hands.
think about it. When you're on the Rockets, it's not about, like, they have scores, bro.
Yeah.
They have Chris Paul, he can give you 15. They got James Harden, he can give you 40. They have Capella, who can give you 10 alley-oops.
Wait, you just said a point.
And Carmelo.
Why Melo wouldn't be
Melo.
starting? PJ Tucker gone,
Because Jimmy Butler is over there.
but he the 3.
Right.
Who gonna start the 4?
Who do they got over there? I'm not too
That's a
familiar
big
with
Carmelo.
It has to be Melo because PJ
They
Tucker gone.
did acquire Marquise Chris from the
Marquise
Suns,
Chris.
but he's not a defender either. You know what I'm
He
saying?
ain't
So
starting.
I
Marquise
can't.
Chris.
I don't know.
I'll start Marquise Chris.
Six cups, man.
Okay, look. If Melo start, who's coming off the bench?
That's the problem. That's why I wouldn't do the trade.
I mean, if you,
That's
but
a lot
it's
to
not
do.
even a
Marcus
okay. Hold on.
Chris start.
I mean, you just rotate your players just like the Warriors do. They don't got that many bench
Who's on
players
their
either.
bench? They got Brandon Knight. They acquired from the Suns. Who else was on that Houston bench? That if Eric Gordon
Michael
is
Carter
gone,
Williams to stick defense. James Ennis can knock down the open
James
three.
Ennis, I
Yeah,
guess.
come on, bro. And he can stick defense.
He's okay. He's an average defender.
I think what y'all really
I don't
don't
know
want
if
to
that bench is enough though. If they acquire Jimmy
Y'all
Butler.
either doing two things. Y'all don't want to give up Eric Gordon or B.
No, I would give up Eric Gordon, but Eric Gordon and
PJ
PJ Tucker.
Tucker or B. PJ Tucker hold too much value with y'all. Like, bro,
I think he's
solid.
a big part of that team.
He's
though.
solid, but I'm taking Melo over PJ Tucker anytime.
Ooh.
I'm taking Melo.
Right now?
I'm taking Melo over PJ Tucker.
Bro, I think Melo.
No, for the Rockets, not.
Ooh, that you made it even worse.
How y'all taking?
PJ over Melo, like what?
On the Rockets,
PJ
not as
Tucker,
an individual
bro.
player.
Listen, from a talent perspective, Carmelo is a better player. than
yes.
PJ Tucker.
Overall,
But I'm saying on a championship contender, I would rather have PJ Tucker than Carmelo.
He was unplayable in the
if
playoffs.
you have Jimmy Butler, you don't need PJ Tucker. Period. You
Even,
don't
all
need
right,
him.
even without
You don't.
even without Jimmy Butler, let's just bring this back because the Rockets gonna end up playing the Warriors again. Can't
That's what I'm
nobody
Not guaranteed.
guard KD. It's either he make his shots or he miss his shots.
But
It's
he-
gonna be pick and roll. Even if PJ Tucker guard him, it's gonna be a
That's what I'm
screen
saying,
set,
bro.
and it's gonna be a switch. Hold on, and it's gonna be a switch. So it don't really matter who gonna guard him. So you might as well get most scorers. The Rockets didn't take the Warriors to 7 games for
I tell
defense.
you.
The Warriors,
But they switched everything.
But let's think
That's
about
why
how
did-
they scored though to keep up with them.
They scored.
No,
but they
3-point
scored.
attempts.
It was about scoring,
PJ Tucker
right?
is a better catch and shoot player than Jimmy Butler. Period.
I mean, but if you basing that off last year, bro.
No, he's always been a 3-and-D guy. Jimmy Butler, you said his best thing he does
What
is
team PJ Tucker played for? We went to the Rockets.
the Raptors, and then before that, the Suns.
Time out. What's the Rockets start lineup right now today?
Chris Paul, Harden. I think they have to
Hello.
start Carmelo Anthony.
No.
They started
Hello,
Melo.
But they-
sorry.
I
PJ Tucker starts at the 4,
Yeah.
and Capella starts at 7.
5. So Marquise Chris, he only get burned in the second unit.
I'm not a fan of Marquise Chris, but
That's the reason why he was throwing in the trade for Ryan Anderson. Horrible deal. He ain't
Nah,
good.
that's a good deal for
Houston or
Because it helped
Aiden.
it helped Aiden because of floor spacing.
But no, not only that, like he finna come off the book, so you got a whole
We got 2 years, I think, on this deal. Ryan Anderson.
Yeah.
20 million a year.
him, or they could stretch provision him.
Alright, let's just wrap this up before we go to the thing.
let's
But
just
it's
start
just
on
one of those things that I just ultimately believe they gonna have to start Melo if they give up PJ Tucker and Eric
He
Gordon.
gonna start.
He started regardless.
I think. If you don't start Melo, you either got James Ennis or
Right.
who is it going to? Eric Gordon. Maybe they start Eric Gordon,
No,
but
I'm
no.
giving
you
up.
got to sacrifice something, man.
I feel like this. My
He
final
gonna
take:
start.
Melo is gonna come off the bench some
Think so?
games. My last thing is I would give up PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon, and then on top of that, it's just like, bro, it's Carmelo Anthony, bro. He can knock down a shot, bro. Like, come on.
Bro, stop dissing Melo, bro. Y'all
Ain't no, but at the end of the day, would you do the trade just to
Y'all.
I feel like you will upgrade that defense if you get Jimmy Butler and you get rid of Eric Gordon. You have scoring, bro. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think Mike thinking about this from a Game 7 aspect, and they
Oh,
was right there last year.
No.
They added DeMarcus Cousins.
Well, it's already over.
Well, we know
Exactly.
the Warriors are dominant, man.
It's already over.
You
But
don't
just,
think Jimmy will give you a better chance?
If DeMarcus
PJ
get hurt
Tucker
again-
and Eric Gordon?
Because they can keep
It's about
up
the fit, though.
from shooting aspect and the scoring aspect. They gonna lose 3-point scoring if they trade for Jimmy Butler.
Bro, in Game 7, they have Gerald Green. That's who y'all tweaking. They have Gerald Green.
he was
He's a
hooping.
shooter.
And Eric
couldn't
Gordon
even
was,
play in the
Eric
playoffs.
Gordon was missing a lot of threes too at the same
Exactly,
time.
bro.
He wasn't.
He was.
He
That's
was-
the reason too.
Eric
The
Gordon-
reason went over 8 in game
Gerald
7.
Green.
Eric,
he can knock down the three.
Eric-
and he can
He
play
not down
defense.
threes. No, he cannot play defense. Come on.
It ain't even
Gerald
about.
Green is not playing
I'm not even gonna talk about defense. The Rockets and the Warriors. It's not even about defense. Those games when they play each other. It's about who gonna score the most. I don't care
Exactly.
what y'all say.
I think they
gonna
score.
say,
The reason the Warriors
it's gonna be
are
a
so
bunch
good
of pick and
is
roll.
they were
Yeah,
top 5
and I
defense.
just think they will score more with EG and PJ Tucker in Atlanta than just Jimmy.
So wait, you don't think Jimmy Butler can average 1.5 steals a game in the Western Conference Finals again?
Of course he can.
And you don't think one of them steals is gonna be on KD?
Yeah, but
That's
that's
momentum.
not enough though.
That's momentum.
Okay, even think. Oh man, we keep
If
saying.
they lose,
but
Eric
even
Gordon-
think about it. KD always gonna get the person who stick him in foul trouble, right? Who are the alternatives to stick him? If you trade for those two people, who are the alternatives? James Ennis?
Ain't nobody guarding KD.
Come on, man.
Oh, Jimmy Butler. What do you mean?
No, I said he would have gotten in foul trouble because KD always gets the person who
But
sticks
think
him.
about this. You got PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon.
Uh-huh.
They not going to get Kevin Durant in foul trouble. You got Jimmy Butler. Kevin Durant is finna pick up a couple fouls. Yeah,
That's true.
that's true. Exactly.
And you
bro.
got
That's
to
what
talk about Carmelo Anthony too.
That's a better matchup.
Why Kevin Durant picking up fouls on Jimmy Butler?
Because Jimmy Butler
He
is
don't got
not.
no moves.
Jimmy
He
Butler's
aggressive,
not
he
shooting
aggressive.
threes.
He aggressive.
He's not
He's
shooting
aggressive.
He's
threes.
aggressive.
He's not finna be out there
He
shooting
going to the rim.
He going to the cup, bro.
Yeah, he
He
aggressive.
gonna pick up a couple fouls.
Now, Jimmy can draw fouls.
That's all
He
you
got
need.
to fouls. He got to get some
That's
that.
all you need. If you're going to slow the Warriors,
I don't-
You hoop with them football players in the gym. They a little tough.
Okay, we got to move on from the Jimmy Butler
man,
topic.
trade that nigga. Trade them niggas.
All right, listen. Next topic, we got to talk about the most overrated player in the league.
Jimmy
So-
Butler.
All right, we're gonna start with Killah Bran here. So, who do you guys think are some of the most overrated players in the league?
Jimmy Butler.
Why you say Jimmy
I
Butler?
saw a list. What list was that? Some list came out. They had him over Kawhi. They had him over.
Oh, Kawhi.
Well,
this is it.
I don't. Hey, I don't even know why.
Shots for that. That's a shot.
They had him over Kawhi, Kyrie. They had him top 10. It was just mind blowing. Anyways, that wasn't even a good source regardless. I just hated that I saw that. I felt disrespected. It wasn't even me.
So,
But
what
Jimmy Butler definitely more overrated than anybody. I mean,
you don't think his game is?
no, his defense, he don't got no moves.
He definitely don't have a
He gonna average. He gonna get 20 off garbage buckets. You know,
I wouldn't say that.
he gonna get 20 off garbage buckets. Only time he ever gonna average 20 was against the Bulls when he was with the Bulls. Those wasn't garbage buckets, but he was taking high volume shots. You gonna get 20. You taking high volume shots, and you got somewhat of a decent jumper. You get into the foul line. He can draw fouls. So he can definitely get 20 drawing fouls, shooting a lot of shots. But the Timberwolves, he couldn't. You know, I ain't gonna give him that. He just came to the team, so he had to kind of get used to the system.
He
But,
averaged like 22.
but anyway, what is he? 29?
Yeah, he's up there.
I mean, so you trying to get traded. Wherever you get traded to, you got a year or a couple years to adjust.
It's probably his last big contract.
And if you go to the Nets, you getting more garbage buckets. You really not that dependable.
I love how people use my phrase garbage buckets now.
We're gonna get to that later, but go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see nobody more overrated than
I got
Jimmy
somebody.
Butler. I mean, people call him A-. He really like B-.
I agree. I
B.
think he's more of a B plus. I would say he's
B.
B plus player.
B.
You say B. I don't think he's an A caliber
He
star.
ain't even in the A's.
What you think, man? Who's your most
B.
overrated
My
player?
most overrated player is Michael Conley.
Ooh.
Man is being paid outrageous numbers. He was injured last year. I want to say he was injured the year before that too. And his contract is just outrageous. And it's like, if you talking about a 200 million or even 100 million, I can name at least
A lot of
12 point guards that's better than Mike Conley. I don't feel like
You
he's
think the
living up.
contract is too much?
Yeah, and it's just like
And
he's
look at
got
the
a-
Grizzlies, man. They have
the Grizzlies, and it's like he's injury prone. So it's like I can see if the man was playing, and it's like, okay, we need to pay somebody, but it's just like he's not even playing. I had him in fantasy. He was my starting point guard. He got fucking injured. And it
So that's what it is. Because of fantasy, you taking it out of my cup.
it's just like his contract is outrageous for what he's being paid
Mhm.
and his production. It just don't add up. So that's why I get Mike Conley.
I'm a rebuttal off that because I feel like Mike Conley is one of the most underrated players. But with that, it's simply because when he is healthy,
That's true.
he hoops and he carries that franchise. Let's think about their
Carry
starting lineup,
them to what?
bro. Even when the Spurs,
He was busting.
when the Spurs was when they was going to the finals or West Conference Finals,
What year was
it went
this?
to Game 7.
Wait, what year is this?
But he's been injured though.
Exactly my
But
point.
but I feel like injuries
My
aren't.
point.
I feel like injuries aren't a detrimental to a player's talent. I think
Bro,
it's just
the best ability is
It's availability.
Period.
Right.
Period. What can you do on the court if you're not available to play?
I understand, but I just feel like holding that as a detrimental or somebody. That's like saying Grant Hill.
I mean, that's just the way of life, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Man,
get hurt.
same thing with Derrick Rose.
Right, look at Derrick Rose. He just played last year for $1
Derrick
million.
Rose right now is better than Michael Conley to me.
Whoa! I'm a D Rose
Hot
fan.
take. That's a hot take.
Whoa!
I'm taking.
Whoa!
D-Rose.
That's a little bias, bro. Bias, bro. All right,
If y'all look
bye.
at the highlights,
We got this on tape.
Oh,
D Rose when he was playing against Mike Conley, what did he hit him with? Okay, layup.
D Rose better than Mike
Like, bro.
Conley in 2018.
in
Yeah.
2018.
If D Rose starts, we're gonna look at these numbers and we're gonna come back to all this.
Okay.
I'm taking D Rose over.
The
Mike.
player I'm gonna say is the most overrated is John Wall.
Whoa.
John Wall
Whoa.
is so overrated. Regular
Yeah.
season player, stat stuffer, but does not get his team over the hump. This man in a weak Eastern Conference has never made a conference final. He still can't shoot.
Has he ever had a third contributor though?
Does he need 3 in the East?
Hell yeah.
Oh, how does he need 3 when the Raptors is just DeMar and Lowry? And
I
Lowry,
could say Valanciunas is solid. He's 16 and damn near 10.
I mean,
That's solid.
it's the Raptors had.
They got depth, though.
They only had they got Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, but they bench was super solid. They had one of the most solid benches in the league.
even when let's just say when they
Other-
went to Game 7, when they had an opportunity to beat Boston, where was John Wall? Fourth quarter stats was terrible.
I didn't see this.
What's the Game 7?
I got the stats right here.
Pull 'em
Oh, I got the stats right here. He was outscored.
Was he injured though? What
No, this was the 2017
You
playoffs.
talking about this particular?
Kelly Olynyk outscored John Wall in the fourth quarter, 14-0.
Game 7.
Game 7 when it mattered most. Now Game 6 he did send the.
Kelly Olynyk
He
was
said-
hot that game. He was hot the whole game.
But this is
was
the
open.
criminal
He had like
top
30.
5 point guard at a different level. He just never continuously shows up, and I think we keep giving this man a pass to only get to the second round in a weaker conference.
So,
He
if
lived.
He need more help,
you
honestly.
He- right now-
don't criticize John Wall for his playoff performance, what about Damian Lillard? Last year he got swept by the New Orleans Pelicans.
Is this
Drew
your
Holiday
most
had him
overrated?
on Rikers Island. Was
This
it-
your most overrated?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh.
What about Damian Lillard? If you're gonna talk about John Wall,
Damian Lillard, but I just
He's
feel,
proven though.
he's
He's
proven.
proven.
Damian
He's-
Lillard's proven.
I think Damian Lillard in a loaded conference is exceeding expectations because first of all they
Hey, he was third seed last year.
bro let's think
They had
about
their own
it. Third seed, first team All NBA, and look, they have Al-Farouq Amino playing heavy minutes.
Yeah, bro. That's
Sure,
right.
And-
Lakers not supposed to hoop like that in the West. They nice.
The
but-
Nuggets was nice.
Nurkic
They got
is nice,
swept
but
by-
the year before that, Nurkic was injured. And what's that other dude name that plays a lot?
McCollum, Mo Harkless.
Mo Harkless. He is just a regular dude. He shouldn't be getting minutes like that.
Do he
Like,
start?
No, he don't start. Come off the bench.
More-
Evan Turner start though.
Have a turn.
I think in the tournament he's come off the bench unless they switch
What's
them.
the-
They go back.
Oh, they
and
start
forth.
me.
Yeah, they definitely go back and forth.
Nurkic.
So
maybe Harkless.
that's what I'm saying. You can say they have just as good as a roster as the Wizards, but I feel like the Wizards 1-2 punch
I
is
feel
better
like
and it's an
I feel
easier
like
conference.
Gortat is trash.
He is
I would
trash.
take
He is
Nurkic
Nurkic
over.
was injured though
Gortat
last
I
year.
would take Al-Farouq Amino over Gortat.
Hell yeah.
Wow,
Gortat is
hell
trash.
no. Hell no.
Yes.
Gortat is trash.
Aminu was better than
No,
Gortat.
Gortat whole career is based off John Wall.
Facts.
That's why he told him, like, bro, you not getting shit without me.
I'm just saying, it's a reason why they was winning all those games when they was actually moving the ball and he was gone. They went on a slump, but they will go farther with Bill and getting a better point guard than moving forward with
much
Wall.
better?
Wait a
Get
minute.
it.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Hmm.
Did you say a better point guard?
Not on a better point guard than John
I mean,
Wall.
bro, like-
I can only name 3.
A point guard that would fit better with Bill. He may not be a better individual
I think
talent.
they need
They need
third
leadership.
Yeah, I think they need a third or a big
Ain't
man.
that supposed to be the point guard? Y'all just made another point for me.
I think they need a third.
I don't think
scorer
John Wall's
or a
the
third
They need
option.
help.
I mean, we hoping that
Yeah,
out of
third
Porter is that, you know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be that third guy. He got paid the big contract.
You should have put him.
Right.
Out
He hasn't
Porter.
lived up to the hype yet either. You know,
I don't
out of
really-
Porter.
I was
He's
going
making
more like
100
all
million.
stars. I think like more like role players. Like Tyler Johnson's overrated.
If you're getting paid $100 million, you're not a role player. And Otto Porter is getting $100 million.
That's true. He's supposed to produce more.
It depends on which year the salary cap was being paid out.
I mean, that's still a lot of money.
Shit, what's that dude's name from Memphis? He getting paid $100 million. We know
Mike Conley?
No, not Mike Conley. Chandler Parsons. We know he wasn't supposed to be. Yeah,
but that was right before.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it just depends on when they was getting paid too, though.
That was right before he went on his slump.
You don't have to pay them though. You don't have to.
I think ain't it like a penalty if you don't use all your money though?
No.
You gotta get
Hell
because
no.
I know
It is a penalty if you're like if you're way too under the cap.
Because as a former Lakers fan, we ain't have to pay Luol Deng.
You don't have to pay him.
And Timothy Mozgov. But at that point, they were just thinking the cap was just going to keep increasing. So that's why Miami locked up so many bad contracts and the Lakers racked up bad contracts. They didn't know it was going to level out. They just thought it was going to keep spiking. So they thought $12 million or $13 million a year was going to be like $7. So that's why people getting stupid money, honestly.
But it's like, bro, it's one thing for you to be getting paid and you're not playing, and it's obvious that we don't need you, to when you're getting paid and you're starting and you're not producing. That's too.
So do you think Mike Conley not producing?
Based on that contract, yes.
Mike Conley hoops when he plays.
When he's healthy,
when he plays, he hoops.
I can give you that, but is he hooping $100 million?
I mean, somebody on the team gonna get the max. I mean, they gotta pay somebody, or they ain't gonna hire nobody.
I can name them at 30. No, I ain't
Whoa,
gonna say
30?
I can name 20. I can name 20 players.
You can't name 10, and I won't say
20's
something.
a lot.
20s.
You can't name 10 point guards better than Mike Conley.
I'm saying players.
Oh,
I can
okay.
name 20 players.
Yeah, 20 players.
Yeah, so if you're not even top 20, why are you getting $100 million? That's what I'm saying,
It's
bro.
a lot of
It's
people.
different league,
It's different league, though.
Nah, bro. You don't have to pay him $100 million. You can pay him 70.
How much
seen
your
Bradley Beal
man
get
Zach
100
Levine just get?
Bradley Beal get $100 million. Zach Levine getting 20 years.
Yeah, bro. Come on, man. And Zach Levine ain't better than Mike Conley.
Do we need a Zach Levine segment?
Let's talk about it. Come on, bro. Zach Levine overrated.
Exactly.
I can't wait to the season.
Zach Levine ain't better than Mike Conley.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not, bro. Come on.
He is.
When healthy?
Okay, so Zach Levine.
He would between his legs and
Hold on,
over Mike Conley.
You said the same thing about Mike Conley, right? He's not producing, he's not available. Is Zach Levine, if he's getting that amount of money, right, he should be able to lead the Bulls to the playoffs. Am I wrong?
No,
Am I wrong with saying that?
you are wrong.
Okay, why am I wrong?
Because you need, in the NBA now, it's not about one player. You need multiple producers. And if you don't have that,
You don't think the
you
Bulls
over with. That's it.
Who else on
Glory?
Memphis? Who else on the Memphis Grizzlies besides Marcus Gasol is good? You can't even.
Jared
Jared Jackson,
good.
they just got him though.
Jared
He was
Jackson's
just.
good.
I can't tell you somebody is good if they unproven. He is a rookie. That's outside of a rookie. Who is good on that team? The fact that you paused.
I would say, what's the name?
Memphis, relax.
You got Michael Green.
Right, JaMychal Green.
Green's okay.
He's good.
He's okay. He's okay.
The hard play,
Bro, just because you don't have a star, don't mean you give a scrub
I understand that.
$100 million.
But
Not saying he's a scrub, but I'm just saying. Like,
I mean,
you
it
don't
kind
have
of means that because you gotta like
you gotta keep him. That's what it
You
is.
gotta keep like if your team struggling to like because Memphis was making a playoff, so he was doing something. And Mike Conley was hooping. You sleeping a little bit.
I won't say he's overrated.
You know, he was hooping, so you gotta pay Mike Conley to keep
I look,
him.
this is what I'm saying. Look, when Mike Conley got his contract, he was the highest paid player in NBA history.
At the time.
Wait,
At the time.
do Mike Conley in the highest paid?
No, it don't go together.
It don't go
I agree with
together.
you. Now, if you
It
talking
don't
about
go
just in terms
together.
of contract,
It don't go
I
together.
understand that.
I mean, Joe Johnson was one of the
he's not
highest
top
paid
player.
players in the league at
No,
1.2.
in history,
His-
not
yeah.
in the league.
But he's not that
history.
anymore, though. You know, at
This
the
nigga
time,
is making more
at the
than
time,
Shaq, Kobe,
he was
and
ahead of his
Jordan.
time. He was ahead of his time.
What?
It's just his time with
What?
a contract,
Yeah,
bro.
Bro,
it was time.
what?
It was time.
It's time.
Yeah.
He got paid at the perfect time. 2016, Tristan Thompson
Y'all
got
got
it
back
back.
that time.
Everybody got paid.
Yeah.
20 million.
You get him back.
Timothy
You get him back.
Mozgov. Timothy Mozgov got paid. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at that time, a lot of guys was getting paid that was not necessarily
They wasn't
top
getting
players.
the most money in NBA history.
He-
All right, go ahead, Kori. Who your
All
most
right,
overrated
listen,
player, man?
Shit.
This is might gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. It's very controversial, but
LeBron, yeah.
Yeah.
no. I'm a fan of this guy, so it hurts me to say this, but The most overrated player to me is Russell Westbrook.
Oh, this man is tweaking.
Super fast.
Listen,
tweaking.
hear me out though.
You tweaking.
It's definitely Jimmy Butler.
He's got 2 back-to-back first-round exits. You know, the year before last, he played against Houston. They lost in 5 games.
And what else did he do that year?
He averaged triple-double.
And what else did he get?
He got the MVP. He got the MVP. Right. So he's the MVP, right? So this makes my point. He's the MVP.
Nobody who gets the MVP is overrated.
Let me go.
Period, bro.
He's the MVP before James Harden last year.
Right.
They lost to the Jazz last year. Do we all agree that the Thunder had a better roster on paper?
Was it his fault?
Nope.
They had Paul George. They had
What
Carmelo
you mean
Anthony.
wasn't his fault?
Y'all
How
all
many
give.
shots did he take?
Y'all gave Carmelo Anthony a lot of praise. They had Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and Steven Adams.
They did have a better roster.
They had the better roster than the
Way
Jazz.
better roster.
And they lost to
They
the Utah Jazz with a rookie.
They lost to
Donovan
the
Mitchell
No, this not-
outplayed
this-
Russell
wait, time
Westbrook
out.
in the
Time
playoffs.
out. This not just
Go.
any rookie though.
Donovan
This is
He's
one
a
of
rookie
the-
though. But he's a
Wait,
rookie.
this
He's
is
a
one of
rookie,
the-
Mike Mills.
I'm gonna cook this argument.
Wait,
I
this
can't
is a
like-
Hall of Fame caliber.
He's a Hall of Fame already?
No,
Donovan Mitchell?
potential.
Potential.
He has-
That's Lil D Wade.
Okay, potential.
That's Lil D Wade.
So this is not just no.
Hey, he's a
Break
rookie
it down
though.
to the rookie.
Hey,
First
this,
year in the
hey, this
league,
is a rookie
Mills.
versus. This is a rookie.
You
versus
talking about Russell Westbrook?
Westbrook.
You say he's the
Paul
MVP.
George,
You got Paul George, who was the franchise
This is
player
what I've
for the
been saying
Pacers.
about.
and Steven
Time out.
Adams.
This is what I've been
and
saying
Melo.
about Russell Westbrook since forever. The man is a 2-guard playing point guard. That's
Oh,
just
we already
simply what
know
it
that.
is.
I agree with that.
Oh, you know
That's
that.
simply what it is. He don't have no poise. It's no poise in his game at all.
You
If
making
you
my
score
point?
Russell
You
Westbrook,
making my point?
but that's what I'm saying. He shouldn't be playing point guard. So
I don't think he's gonna
It's like
accept
no
any on the road though.
I think he's a 2-guard playing point
I
guard.
think
So
he's
look,
been a 2-guard.
So why couldn't they beat the Utah Jazz? They had the better roster, right?
Because
They
Melo
had-
is on the roster.
They had
Not
the two
because,
best.
please.
They had the 2 best players in the series, right? Do we all agree Paul George and Westbrook was the 2 best players?
They the 2 best
over
players in the series.
Gobert and Donovan
Wade
Mitchell.
is not close.
What happened? What happened? Y'all explain to me. Y'all explain to me.
Hey,
Go.
you have a scorer trying to
Did y'all
be a
know?
playmaker, and it's like that's not going.
It's a lot of scorers at point guard. Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry's a
They
scorer.
have
You know what I'm
poise.
saying?
They have poise. Russell Westbrook is like Mike Tyson, bro.
He's a loose cannon.
It's no
That's
game.
what I'm saying.
Bro, it's no game. No, it's nigga, I'm finna get this 30. I'm finna drop
So
off.
why couldn't they
10
win?
assists. Bro, because he's not a point
His
guard.
IQ is horrible. That's why.
So you prove my
Put
point.
like this: if Russell Westbrook was 6'9", he would probably be the best player we ever saw.
Might be. But he couldn't beat the Utah Jazz. with a rookie.
The Oklahoma City Thunder losing in the playoffs last year was not Russell Westbrook's fault.
Are you kidding me?
He
bro?
said it's Melo's fault.
It is Carmelo Anthony's fault.
The
Mike,
third
stop
option.
talking, bro.
Specifically
Stop. I
because he is unplayable in the fourth. Russell Westbrook had to make up for his contribution offensively, therefore taking more shots
That don't even make
because
no sense.
Melo is not efficient at all.
That
No,
don't even
Russell
make sense.
Westbrook, when he got scored on, he came down and said, "Everybody, get the fuck out the way. I'm finna get these 2 back." And he bricked. And he got scored on again and came back down and did
What did he have? What did he have?
Quarter.
What did he have?
He shot
In the closeout game, what
he
did he
shot
have?
over 80 shots in 2 games.
No.
That's not even
That
including
don't
the
sound like a
ones.
point guard to me.
He's on the team with Paul George.
How much he had? How much he had that last game? How much did he
Tell
have?
me how much playoff he
Bro,
had.
how much points did Paul George? And I'm a Paul George fan. How many points did he have last
Bro,
game?
He had 5 points.
He had 5 points. Y'all cannot continue to blame the MVP of the league for
4 MVP.
people not showing
Don't do
up
that, Kori.
in
Forward.
one of the hardest places to play in the NBA with one of the top defenses in the NBA. You cannot blame someone being aggressive
That's not talking
because
about Utah had a higher seed, so they low key technically were.
Bro, the Thunder were the
better
higher
team.
seed. They had a
No,
home
it
court.
wasn't.
Yes, they were.
It was.
They had home court advantage.
It was 4-5.
They had the 2 best players in the series. What's the excuse, man? Come on, now.
the
I'm tired of hearing.
excuse is they had better defense, they had a better coach, and the 2 stars on the other team did not show up. Period. You
Why?
cannot blame.
Why? Because they overrated. That's why.
Okay,
All
that
right,
has
yeah.
nothing to do with Russell Westbrook.
Bro,
The rest of them deserve no blame. It's
No,
all,
I ain't say that,
it's all
but-
Carmelo
but
Anthony
to say
and Paul George.
The reason why they lost that series, majority, was because Paul George and Melo did not play up to par. They lost
Melo took
they-
7 shots a game that series damn
He
near.
didn't even play
How
that
you
much.
gonna
They
say
was
he
subbing
was
him out.
and Melo not shooting or even playing? How is it Melo fault?
First of all,
How
Melo.
can somebody that's not
How
playing
you,
be at
hold
fault?
on. Let's think think about this. Melo and not shooting don't even make sense to me at all. Melo likes to shoot the ball.
That's exactly. So why is he getting more attempts? Because Russell taking 40 shots, 30 shots. The offense is not. You can't play that.
The Jazz were 5th and the Thunder were 6th. Like I said,
No, that don't even make sense, bro.
They
No,
played
the
The
Jazz
Jazz were 5th. The Thunder were 4th. Because the Blazers was 3rd. They played the Pelicans.
I think
they
they were higher.
Oh, this is
Come on, bro.
Regardless,
There's no excuses for Russell.
Okay, let's just
He's
think
the
about
MVP,
it.
right?
But period.
Hey,
They
no
brought
excuse.
Melo in to be the 3rd option. They played Jeremy Grant more than they played Melo. Then Paul George was inefficient for 2 games.
Time out. Before we go out, Billy Donovan should have been fired.
Oh,
since a
so they got out-coached, right?
That's another time.
They got
Oh,
out-coached.
No, they didn't get out coached. Russell can't be coached.
You cannot.
What you talking about? Oh,
If
my
Allen
God.
Iverson can be coach, Russell can be coach. Period.
Allen Iverson didn't go to practice. He ain't get no coaches.
Bro, if this is
I'm
the
just
same
trying to
type
find
of
an
player,
answer. They had the
It
better
ain't
roster.
Russell, bro. You can't blame Russell for that series.
It's
bro.
a rookie.
He
man.
played I would say
I
he played.
blame Billy Donovan.
I'm gonna
You blame
blame.
Billy
You can
Donovan.
blame Russell and Paul George if you wrong,
Bro,
but you
Yeah,
blame
I mean,
him.
Paul George deserves some
I
blame
give him
too.
some blame, but to say that he is overrated and use last year's playoffs
Oh,
as
he's
reference,
overrated.
I'm talking about the last
If it
2
wasn't-
years.
If
I mean,
it wasn't for Russ,
the year
that
before
stuff-
that-
without Kevin Durant, he's had 2 first-round exits. You know what I'm saying?
Before, the year before that, the second best player on that team was Steven Adams.
That's not bad though.
They went
Okay,
against.
then who's the 3rd? That's why I said you need 3.
Deion
You
Waiters
need more than
wasn't
2
it?
contributors, bro.
Bro, but they
Wasn't
went
it
against
Deion
the
Waiters?
Rockets though.
And then they had Victor Oladipo.
They had Oladipo. Look what Oladipo did. Time out.
come
Look
on.
what Oladipo did without Russell Westbrook.
That was more closer to Orlando Magic Oladipo than
It was a year apart. What you
Bro.
talking
It was a
about?
year from the Orlando too, though. It wasn't.
He was
a
hooping in Orlando.
Wait,
Why
last
did they trade
year,
him?
I'm not going to blame that on Westbrook, but the year before that, when they
That's
played
what I'm
against the
saying,
Rockets,
bro. He
that was
hooping.
Westbrook's fault. That was
Thank
Westbrook's
you.
fault.
Thank you.
How?
Because he shot them out.
He shot the ball
He
way
shot
too
them
much,
out. That's
man.
it.
Expect 2 for 18
Against
in the fourth quarter.
against the Rockets, he shot them
Thank
out.
you. That's all I'm saying.
Last year, that's Billy Donovan. I put that on Billy Donovan.
I just expect more from the MVP.
Let's just think about it just like this. You may blame Russell. Who got them there? They weren't even supposed to make it.
That's true.
Listen, he had a great season. He averaged a triple-double. I'm not taking away from Westbrook. I'm a fan of Russell Westbrook. But
Y'all disrespect my
when
man.
the game is on the line in the playoffs, he's not a good decision maker, man. He takes the team out.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a poise, bro. He's not a point guard.
He's not boys.
He's
But
not a point guard.
anybody who got an MVP ain't overrated. Period.
Period.
I'm a fan of Russell.
Period.
He's still a top 10 player in the league.
Russell Westbrook finessed
But
his
I
way to
just
that
think-
MVP. James Harden should be back to back.
Thank you.
Should, bro.
I agree with that.
Yes, he should.
James Harden should win MVP that year.
When
Back
you
to
jump
back.
on
The only
somebody's
reason
back
Westbrook
and
got
they
it-
get caught for a foul, it's not. I don't want to hear that.
Okay, well then give it to LeBron that year then. Fuck it. I don't care.
Bro, he averaged 30,
But-
11, and 10. Like, come on, bro.
Bro,
The playoffs.
Oh my
he eliminated the Jazz.
Did you not see how he got them stats? Was nobody watching, bro?
Steven Adams
People
moving
moved
out
out
his
his way, bro.
They helping him get triple.
They helping him get triple doubles. It's
So what?
apparent.
Y'all
What
say-
you mean? So what? Then
Y'all
anybody that
So
plays
y'all
like that
hating.
can average a triple.
I'm not a hater. I love Russell Westbrook.
If you gonna
I'm a
hold,
fan of his game.
listen. If you
If
gonna
that's the
hold
case-
the ball 90% of the time, take most of the shots,
And I'm
and let
point
the
guard. That's all I'm saying.
and let
He's
the
the point guard.
Okay,
Not though.
I'm just saying if
He's
it's so
the
easy to
point
do,
guard.
I'm just
He's
saying
not
if it's
a
so
point guard.
easy to do. Oscar Robertson was playing what we would have even thought of in our dad's balls. Period.
So
So this took all the way for Russell Westbrook to start playing to get a triple double.
It took all the way to a team to let somebody get rebounds.
Okay, so there was no other superstar.
Right, bro. You can. All right,
I never seen that
love-
before.
time
What you
out,
talking
time
about?
out. If he got 8 rebounds, he's still MVP.
No,
No.
Yeah.
no.
He would have got it.
He got
the
it
only
'cause
reason
of
they
the
gave it to
triple-double.
him because he had a triple double.
This
That's
is
the
the
only
only
reason he got
because
it.
of the triple
That's the
double.
only reason.
MVP.
They was a 7 seed.
Listen, MVP is a regular season award.
Yes.
It was a
James
7.
Harden
I think
lost
it's 6 seed,
MVP
but
in the
they-
playoffs. Because when he went against, I think that was the
Can't lose
Spurs.
MVP in the playoffs.
No, it's a regular season award.
No, but they
If it's a regular,
put it like this.
that means rookie
It's-
of the year should be a regular.
Wait, time out. It's based on the
Every
regular
Donovan
season.
Mitchell should have got it.
Look, it's
The
based
vote
on the
happened
regular
before the
season.
playoffs start.
All right, look, it's based on the regular season. But if you look at what happened in the playoffs, James Harden got exposed.
He did.
And shortly
Against
after
Spurs.
that,
Against Spurs.
Westbrook got the MVP.
But James Harden beat Russell Westbrook, right? In the first round.
Bro, that team wasn't even
Oh,
equal.
man.
It wasn't equal at all.
No, it's not equal. James Harden had a better team.
Right.
I'm not saying Westbrook should have won the series.
So why are you using that
I'm talking
first
about
round
the
exit
last
against him?
2 years.
But
They
think
should
about it
have
like
beat the
this.
Utah Jazz.
No, but the
James
year
Harden
before, you
played-
said the last 2 years.
Last
The
2
year
years, they
before,
should beat the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, before
They
that
lost
was
in
the
5.
the year before that was the
They
Rockets.
lost in 5. You can't get to 6 and 7. You Russell
No,
Westbrook.
bro,
The
his team
MVP.
was trash, though. His team was
So are we
trash.
using games or first round
Bro,
exit?
James Harden didn't even have Chris Paul at the time.
Bro, but he had
Bro, he made his team look better. He's the better point
Look at
guard.
Rocket squad, bro. They compared to the
Thunder?
come on,
Compared to the
Listen,
He
I
had
think the Rockets
Oladipo,
were a better
man.
team.
Bro.
Did he have Oladipo?
You're using the Oladipo from now, though.
But Oladipo
The one-
without Russell Westbrook.
The Oladipo
He's
on
coming
a
off the
Magic
bench,
was
right.
nothing.
Yeah, he's coming off
He
the
was
bench.
nothing. Oh my god,
Bro, then why he was traded twice in 2 years? If he was gonna be the man.
Bro, because you can't hoop with Westbrook.
No, but why did
He didn't look good.
Orlando trade him there if they knew he was gonna be this?
Why
Orlando trade?
Why didn't he Russell Westbrook?
Bro,
He's coming off the bench, and you know why he
Why
did?
coming off the
Wait,
bench?
hold on.
They coming off the bench.
Bro, let's-
You know
let's
why?
move on,
You
bro.
know why? Because Billy Donovan was not
I
that
agree.
guy.
It takes
I agree
coaches.
with
He's not that
No.
guy.
No.
He's
Russell
not that guy.
Westbrook
would you
can't
rather,
be coached.
bro? Would you rather have a talented team that's uncoachable or a good coach with mid-level talent?
I'd rather have a mid-grade talent with a coach.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, so they can have all talent. Steven Adams, Victor Oladipo, Russell Westbrook. But Billy Donovan ain't putting them in the system to be successful.
Bro, he's
They're
not
going to be good.
He's not calling plays. That's what the thing is, bro.
Exactly.
And that's been his whole MO the whole time, bro. Like, niggas will be, they go to the huddle. He wouldn't call shit, bro. And if
But you know what?
if he did and they went out and they didn't execute it, he's not calling timeout.
Okay, but
he's just letting it rock.
We said the same thing about Scott Brooks. Is it the coaches or is it the players?
No, we didn't
When
say the
Kevin
same thing
Durant
about Scott
and
Brooks.
Russell Westbrook and James Harden was together, we say, oh, it's the coach fault they're not winning.
It was a crime.
It's the coach fault they're not
It
winning,
was a
right? That's why
crime
Scott
letting
Brooks
go
got
of Scott
fired.
Brooks. No, it was a crime letting go of Scott Brooks.
But this is the thing, like, Scott Brooks was a better coach than Billy Donovan. but
Billy
he still
Donovan
was.
is a college coach.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
like
Scott-
Billy Donovan.
Scott
either.
Brooks
I
was a
still-
better. Scott, I'll just break down Kori's point. Scott Brooks was a better coach than Billy Donovan, but he still didn't put all of them into the position to be their best versions. Those are 3 Hall of Fame players, and they got to 1 final.
Okay.
Now they still have some injuries, so they thought they thought they would do a coaching change. They hired the wrong
They
guy
hired the wrong person, bro.
so it's not that these stars just running coaches out the way. They hired the wrong guy, but letting go of Scott Brooks was the right decision because 3 Hall of Fame people with 1 finals
He's
is
fucking 20
unacceptable.
years old, 22. Like, bro, what do you expect? Like,
But he still got. I thought he was a good coach.
LeBron
though.
in his prime.
Yeah, I thought
He
he was a
Wade
good
in
coach.
his prime.
He went to
Like,
multiple conference finals, right? Then he went to 2. Yeah, so like it's not he didn't do bad, but they could have went farther. So that's why he had to go. But
I'm
Holland,
cool on Billy Donovan.
Yeah,
I'm cool
he's trash.
on Russell Westbrook running the point guard.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. I like Russell Westbrook. I'm a
he's
fan.
an MVP.
He's a top 10 player. I'm not
Respect him.
discrediting
Put
him.
that man at the 2 where he belongs, bro.
But
Don't disrespect him.
I just expect them more. They should have beat the Jazz. That's all I'm saying.
Definitely should have beat the
Let's
Jazz.
move on now. We gotta
Even
move
though
on.
I had the Jazz winning.
You got the Jazz winning? Okay.
But, you know.
How
I
many
didn't
points
think
Joe
they-
Johnson averaged that series?
The Jazz on Houston though.
He's on Houston.
Yeah, so he tweaked.
Oh, okay.
All right, we gotta move on.
Sink in your chair.
So we just talked about the overrated players. Let's talk about some players that's not getting enough love. You know, guys that are kind of underappreciated. So
Joe Johnson.
who are some of them?
Bro, don't start.
Who are some of the guys that are underappreciated around the league? Chigerian, you got somebody you want to mention?
I'm gonna throw out the man that just this glorified laugh, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard
Underrated?
is
Underrated.
underrated simply because
He's the second best player in the league.
no,
or
but
the
we
third.
only say this.
He's top
because-
3 though.
We only say this because we've seen what he can do in preseason. Now, we like, oh, Kawhi is back.
He was top 3 in the
Before
Spurs.
that,
Kawhi Leonard.
everybody was telling me, oh, I gotta see what he do, this and that. Like, I don't know how he gonna fit. I think he's a system player, all of this. This man would stick LeBron and go out and score on this man. And there's a footage.
Everybody knows that.
There's footage of this man coming in the game. LeBron like, fuck, I got this nigga coming in.
All right, look. When I think of underrated, I think of
Yeah, Kawhi not underrated.
Bro, he is, bro.
No, he's
Because
not.
I
How?
think he's in the conversation of best player in the league.
Everybody knows that though.
This
You ain't gonna find nobody.
But you
that
gotta
ain't gonna say
understand, there's a basketball conversation outside of this room. There are people who say he's not top 5. There are people.
I've never met no one that said Kawhi not top 5.
There are people who say he's just a system player. There are people who think they're just going to be a top 4 seed and not even be 1 or 2. I'll give you an example. Gilbert Arenas. He thinks Kawhi isn't that guy. I just watched his podcast, and he has the Bucks over the Raptors. So although you don't,
Bucks look good.
even though you may think Kawhi is just look, I'm just saying there are certain people who believe Kawhi isn't that guy because Pop puts people in the best position and gets the best out of them. But what I see from Kawhi, and this is why I think he's underrated, is working from Kobe. His points per game has gone up each season. He's been in positions to make plays off the pick and roll, and now he has his own team and is going to make Lowry a better player because no one was holding Lowry accountable. When Kawhi is playing defense and things like that, Danny Green playing defense like that, DeMar really wasn't a defender. When DeMar and when Lowry is getting scored on, they gonna tell him about it. So that's why I think the Raptors are gonna be such a better team than when they were with DeMar in general. My second underrated player was, since y'all talking about under the radar people, Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson is one of those players who can defend and he can score the ball, but he don't get no shine because he's on the Miami Heat and they got legends like D Wade. They thought Dion Waiters was gonna be the guy, and they drafted like Justice Winslow and Bam out of that. But Josh Richardson is the most consistent player on that team.
I mean, he's the reason why I like that is because he's a good player. He makes all the right plays, but he don't get highlight plays.
Exactly.
He's not flashy.
Right.
That's the main reason why the Spurs were so good, but they never got TV time.
Right.
They not flashy, but everybody knows Tim Duncan one of the GOATs.
Right.
So it's like that's just all that is. You got people that's like Mike Conley. He ain't that flashy, but he gonna get buckets and produce.
He ain't worth 150
Nah.
million either.
You know, so just cause you're not flashy, just like flashy. I mean, you can be flashy, but you know, just like when Kyrie. You know, when the Warriors and stuff was when people compare Kyrie to Steph, they say Steph the better driver.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
What?
No, I'm sorry.
I'll talk about it.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you good. But it's like, you know, cause you know Kyrie can't, you know, you can't really stop Kyrie from going. You either gonna foul him or he's just gonna find a way to miss. But all them layups, whatever which way, Knicks, whatever, they 2 points. You know, so I mean it's a efficient 2 points. You can find a way to score at any position, but if somebody come down and hit a 3, you're gonna lose every time. So
all I was trying to say about Kawhi is everybody don't think like how y'all think. Even if it's on sports debate shows and like things like that, I definitely hear Kawhi, they not gonna be that. Like we giving him a little too much credit when this guy literally can score with the best of them and defend with the best of them. So that's just one.
I haven't heard that. I've seen Kawhi single-handedly change the whole Spurs offense just based off how good he is. Pop literally let Kawhi do his thing. They went away from they little bit went away from the moving the ball consistently to where they gave it to Kawhi in the pick and roll and let him make the decision. They actually changed their offense just based off how smart he was, his IQ, and how good he was at scoring.
So if you're a GM and there's top 5 players on the board, you're not picking Kawhi last? And I'm thinking, and think about it not just from wins and losses.
I'm not picking him last.
No. What you mean last? Out of 5?
Out of the 5.
Why would I pick him last?
I'll pick him before
I'm picking him second. I'm picking him for KD.
James ain't top 5 with me.
Whoa.
He's never gonna get it.
I'm picking Kawhi for KD.
Who is your underrated player?
Yeah, Killah Bran. Who you got?
I'm not ready yet. I gotta think.
All right,
Millz.
All right, so I had 2 people. Who I have first? First, I have Chris Middleton.
That's a good one. I had
Because he averages 20 points,
Oh yeah.
and I don't think he has yet to be an all-star.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
like,
absolutely.
and he shows up in the playoffs.
Play
He shows
defense.
up in the regular season.
Yep.
He plays defense. He shoots over 40%, and he's
flashy.
in the high 30s, if not 40% from 3.
Exactly.
I don't understand why this man
Not flashy.
didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Not flashy and playing in Milwaukee.
And the second play I had is Tobias Harris. I just feel like he's underrated just basically on where he played previous. Because he's going to get a little more clout in LA because it's LA.
Mm-hmm.
Who was he playing for before? The Magic?
He played
Detroit.
for Detroit.
Detroit. Detroit is never on TV. You never gonna hear nothing about Detroit unless it's Flint, Michigan. So it's like,
Yep.
Tobias Harris, I feel like he gonna have a great year. I feel like he gonna average at least 20 points, and I think he gonna have the Clippers on that bottom.
Fighting
8-10
for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So, like, I agree with you that these people are underrated, but I just want to kind of challenge this a little bit. With these, do you think these are more, and this is more for Tobias Harris rather than Chris Middleton, do you think these are garbage buckets? Or you
No,
think
but Tobias Harris a hooper.
I don't think so.
Tobias Harris
These
a
guys
hooper.
are legit hoopers. They on an under the radar team, and they just don't get acknowledged enough. The
Zach
games are-
Levine is garbage bucket.
Yeah, I would have to have Chris Middleton and Zach Levine.
I
I
understand
can't
it.
wait till the season.
I understand,
starts.
but I understand that Chris Middleton because they got a playoffs.
You
But
see what he did against the Timberwolves?
let's just talk about preseason. But
No, the regular season last year.
I'm talking about one game. But with Tobias Harris, the Magic, did they make the playoffs when he was there? No. When Tobias, when he was there with the Detroit, he was a thrower for Blake Griffin, right? So like you
Blake
don't.
Griffin
A
was
throw in?
He wasn't a throw in.
He was
but
starting.
He was
he
one of the
partner
main
too.
attributes.
Yeah,
we
he
was
started
talking about.
throwing.
What I
Without
would
Tobias,
challenge-
that trade
What
wouldn't have happened.
I would challenge you is when you say underrated, I'm talking about underrated. Like when I watch First Take, when they talk about the top 5 players, Kawhi is always mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch, what's the other one? Uninterrupted, Undisputed. Undisputed, Kawhi Leonard is mentioned over KD. When I look at 2K, Kawhi Leonard is top 5 in the ratings. I don't see how he's underrated at all.
He's not.
He's a Finals MVP.
I just
He's
don't
a
see-
perennial All-Star.
But what I'm thinking about underrated is we never see,
We know him.
but we never see him really. We only see him talked about on debate shows. We never see him talked about like the rap. Like he was when he came back. Like you know how LeBron had a countdown. There was no countdown for Kawhi.
He's not
mean
LeBron though.
Right, there was
What
no
you mean
countdown
countdown?
for nobody.
Kawhi is kind of his personality doesn't allow him to.
The man don't talk.
He don't talk. He doesn't have
the
the
first time
I feel
2
like
weeks
he,
ago.
He doesn't have the marketing that LeBron James.
I just feel like
you know
he
what
should
I'm
get
saying?
more respect, and I feel like he gets
You
more
know,
respect.
he's not.
Oh my god.
Bro, we have his laugh. That
Right.
should tell you he's not
Come on,
underrated.
man. We got the laugh.
You know who that is.
We know who that is, man.
Put Tobias Harris laugh up there. We ain't
We
even
ain't
gonna
gonna Tobias Harris laugh. We know who's that.
No, but what I was saying about Tobias Harris is just like I understand he's underrated, but sometimes I feel like numbers can be
inflated.
inflated simply because
Yeah, I agree with that.
because like on the Clippers, who else gonna score besides Lou Williams? So
You
you
gotta
don't
watch
go-
him play though.
But I understand that like people can have
Shake it.
game.
I don't think you watch Tobias Harris.
No,
play.
like I feel like he can have game, but when you the number one option on a bad team, you get to showcase a little bit more. On the Magic, if he was really that guy, they would have more wins and they wouldn't have traded him.
Wait, time out. The Magic are literally the worst franchise
Terrible.
in the
No, it's
league.
the Kings. First of all,
No, I got the
Magic's
Magic.
terrible.
over
That's
them.
like when
I got
Kyrie,
the
even
Magic
though he
over.
was young, when he was on the Cavs, there was literally zero help. That's why they sucked so bad. There was zero help on the Cavs.
so we really putting Kyrie and Tobias in the same category? That's a difference, bro.
I mean, when you think about it,
No,
you said Tobias Harris wasn't producing, but his team was trash. Kyrie's team was trash, so he can't really produce.
Who you got, Kori?
Look how Anthony Davis struggled with the Pelicans. It was
he got
hard
them to the playoffs. I'm not trying to hear that.
Okay.
This is the Eastern Conference, and it's easier.
Tobias
Kyrie was
Harris?
Look at
younger.
DeMarcus
Kyrie was
Cousins. DeMarcus
younger.
Cousins on the Kings.
I just said they the worst franchise. Period. In a harder conference. No, let me finish.
DeMarcus Cousins on the King. He's way better than Tobias Harris.
Right, but it's
He's
a harder
way better than
conference. It is a
Mike.
much harder
Mike, come
conference.
on, Mike.
to
You
win.
contradicting
No, I'm
yourself
not
right now,
contradicting
man.
myself. It's a much harder
The
conference.
team was trash, Mike.
The team was trash, but where they went, they had much more wins than the Magic.
All right,
right?
so look, what do you have Tobias Harris doing this season? Do you have him averaging over 20 points? Yes or no?
He don't watch Tobias Harris. He don't know.
Man,
Just say 20.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Just
don't
say
know.
a dub.
I don't know.
He gonna get at least
Go
a
get a
dub.
dub, bro.
He gonna get at least
I
a
think
dub.
he's the average.
A dub, 44%.
I agree with the Chris Middleton thing. I just don't think he's in that tier with Chris
Okay,
Middleton.
so if he averages 23 points,
Oh, he's in a tier with
He's in
Chris
a tier.
Middleton.
rebounds,
Chris
then
Middleton,
what you
yeah.
gonna do?
Huh?
If he averages over 20 and 8 rebounds, What can you say?
What's their record? It's a difference though because Devin Booker.
We know they're not gonna make the playoffs. We know that.
Yeah, Clippers not.
I'm not impressed by garbage buckets though, and that's the thing I'm trying to.
But it's not garbage buckets
All right,
when
what
you
about
start
Devin
though.
Booker?
Huh?
He's a starter.
Is Devin Booker not good?
His
Like the
exact-
Suns up?
I'm not saying he's not good, but the point I was trying to make was. Are you saying he's underrated because he puts up numbers or because you think he can actually hoop? I think Devin Booker can actually hoop.
No, I said he was underrated because of where he played. He didn't get the recognition.
Right.
His
Okay.
game has
Played
always
in
been there.
Orlando and Detroit.
But where he's played, he don't get the shine. So I feel like his game has always been
You
there.
don't even get TV time.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You don't never
And
see
most of
him.
these people, when you watch TNT, Shaq and all them, they watch the televised game. They don't
And what
watch.
I personally think about Tobias Harris is I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's in the tier of like the next underrated players like Lou Williams, Chris Middleton.
Lou
things
Williams
like that.
not
I
underrated.
don't think Lou Williams underrated.
He's 6th man of the
He
year.
get his
Yeah.
credit. He get his credit, man.
I know that Lou Williams has 2 girlfriends. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
That's
You probably didn't know that. But
No,
like that's
no.
common knowledge, bro. Like
It's common.
we know
No, we're not gonna
who
put
it is.
socially things in with
That's
hooping,
what it
though.
is.
No, it's not though.
Yes,
It's
it
not.
is.
Six
All right,
man of the
he
year,
got
too.
6 man of the year, so he
That's
definitely
credit, bro.
underrated.
That's credit, bro.
Last year he should have been an all-star. That's
Exactly.
I'm talking
In
about.
the,
He was like,
it was in
yeah.
the West though.
He was
I'm talking.
It
When
was
I'm
in the
talking,
West
when
though.
my tier of when we're talking about underrated outside of the Kawhi thing, because I talk about recognition. I'm thinking about people who should be all-stars. I don't think Tobias Harris should have been an all-star though.
In the East, I think he should have been.
Oh,
He could have been an all-star. Al Horford made it last year, bro.
That's true.
He makes every team better he goes to.
I mean, but if you're looking at the stats, it's
But
like
that's what I'm saying. It's not just stats though.
right. So we have to take in social and
No,
recognition.
No, I was talking
and-
about how you make the team better, not the other stuff.
Let me say my player.
Go ahead.
I had Chris Middleton on my list. I had Tobias Harris on my list. I think these are 2 guys that play for smaller market teams,
Talk to him.
and they don't get enough credit. You know, they ballers, man. Chris Middleton and Tobias Harris, they are ballers to me. Now, the third guy I had on my list is Klay Thompson. He plays for the Golden State Warriors, so he's not the guy. We all know that. But,
Underrated.
you know, Steph and Kevin Durant are going to get most of the credit.
I
But
would- I
to
agree.
me, Klay
I
Thompson,
would
he
agree.
guards the best point guard in the playoffs.
He gets cooked.
Steph Curry don't guard Kyrie Irving. Klay Thompson was guarding Kyrie Irving in the playoffs.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like this was the point that I was trying to kind of make with Kawhi because every time they make a top 5 list of shooting guards, Klay is always there. So I wouldn't put him in the
But
underground.
I'm saying Klay deserves more credit. And definitely for his defensive presence. He's one of the
He
best
gets
defenders
cooked.
in the league. To
He
me.
gets cooked.
He's guarding the best defenders. He's gonna get cooked sometimes.
He gets
He's
cooked.
gonna get cooked
You
sometimes. He's
just
guarding the best
remember when he
players.
got cooked. You don't remember when
He
he
had
did get
Kyrie
cooked.
on Rikers Island in the first 2 games in the final. Come on now. So Klay's
I
a
agree
great
with that.
defender. We all know he's one of the best shooters of all time. Everybody talk about Steph Curry as one of the best. Maybe Klay's number 2. Maybe he's in the top 5 for sure. He's in
I
the top
say
5.
if you put Klay Thompson on 80% of the teams in the league, he's averaging 25.
Definitely.
He's going to the All-Star game, and they probably making the playoffs. So he definitely deserves more.
25?
Yeah.
Klay don't got no moves
He
either.
averaged
You know
what? How much did he score?
What about 21, 22?
Come on. I mean,
7?
That's the difference though. Like
yeah.
that's a player who doesn't need moves to score. That's
He's
He
an all-time
needs a
great
system
shooter.
to score. That's
He's
what
an
he needs.
all-time great
He
shooter.
needs to not
He
dribble
needs
the
the
ball
ball.
to score.
He
That's
needs
all.
the
Give him the ball, he
He
gonna
needs
score.
the ball.
Just give him the ball and
He
make
don't
sure
need
he can pull up.
Yeah.
Don't give him the ball and let
I'm
him
not
do
saying he's
this.
gonna shake people.
Don't-
up,
Don't do
but-
that. But people,
Right, that means you
people
need a
go-
good system. You need
You
a
know, he
system.
can be great on any team.
He
you
can
know,
be
bro.
good at any.
All right, he gonna be decent on any team,
Right.
but
He's gonna average
Klay,
25.
Yeah, he gonna average.
he gonna be.
He average more than he averaged on the
need some more
Warriors.
moves to average 25.
No, he
He
averaged
shoots
more than
threes,
he
bro.
averaged.
He shoots
Right,
threes.
he
Just
shoots
imagine
threes
if he had the
because he's
volume.
open for these threes.
But if he had the volume of a number 1 scorer,
That's like KD. Like he went to Golden State. Everybody's saying he's
It
gotten
don't
better.
matter.
No, he's playing next to better players.
Basically,
so it's
if-
easier for him to
Basically, if he went to the Magic
yes,
and
he averaged 25.
it was no
Playoff.
system, he would average 25
At least
with
how?
no moves.
at least 25.
What is
He
he
can
doing?
shoot that hit, bro.
He
He's
just
one of the greatest of all
Bro,
time.
you
That's what I'm
don't need
saying.
moves
You don't need
when you
moves.
coming off a double screen.
Yeah,
You don't need no
And I don't
moves.
need no system.
You don't need
Yeah,
no
You
moves.
don't need no system. No
If you
moves.
come off a double screen, you don't need to.
When
be
Klay
shooting.
goes one way and he dribbles, He's not coming back and going different directions. He's giving it
I
up.
got Clay
They
handles
can run down pins all game.
It's close.
I mean, Jimmy Butler's not crossing people up either.
Hey, they
I would
about to
take Clay
say.
Thompson over Jimmy Butler.
It don't matter. They'll run down pins all games if it works.
You said who?
They'll run down pins all game.
Clay.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Clay. I mean,
if
if
you
it
go out
work,
with
yeah.
double screen, you don't need no moves.
Exactly.
I mean, hey, if you're going to knock him down, fine. But
No, ain't no
Hey,
hate. It's
it's
Clay
When
Thompson.
he knocked it down, it's when he knocked it
Hey,
down.
hold on. Let's not forget. Let's not forget. Before Kevin Durant even came to the Warriors, who saved the Warriors against the Thunder? When the
Clay,
Thunder
he
was
was
up
open.
3-1.
he was hoping. That's why he's
When
not
the Thunder
underrated.
was up 3-1 on the Warriors.
Clay was banging that joint.
Clay
That's why he's
saved
not-
their ass in Game 6.
Exactly.
I
And
say
I
he's
know that.
underrated because we don't talk about Clay.
We don't talk about Clay.
It's no more
It's all
Splash
about
Bros.
Steph and
It's
KD.
KD and Steph.
It's
It
all
ain't no
about
more Splash
KD.
Bros. It's
Clay
KD and
guards the
Steph.
best.
I don't
offensive
recognize
player.
KD. It's the Splash Bros to me.
Clay
Some
guards
KD.
our best offensive player. That's all I'm saying. He needs more credit.
In the East,
I know Draymond is important to the Warriors,
In the
but
East
Clay
is
is important too.
Clay is definitely important. I bet no, he's important. He's not underrated. People just,
I don't think he
He's
gets
underappreciated.
Yeah, he's underappreciated.
He's
That's all I'm saying.
underappreciated.
I don't even think he underappreciated.
So the only ones we really agreed upon was Chris Middleton and Tobias Harris. Really,
Did you agree?
You didn't agree with
the
that.
Tobias Harris one, I just feel like. So when I think of underrated players, I'm thinking of more like
Should have been an All-Star.
Should have been an All-Star. So the name I would think like C.J. McCollum is.
That's a good one. Well, I would say he's
I
underrated.
don't think he should be an All-Star though.
Oh, what?
He's not who is he going to start in the All-Star game?
He's not an All-Star though.
Who can he start over?
Clay, Chris, so many guards in the West.
Who can
It's
Right,
just
right.
because he in the West,
Chris
though.
Paul.
That's what I'm saying.
He
He
can't-
can't-
if he was in the East, he
the
would be
only
All-Star.
reason
But
why-
that's
the
the point I'm trying to say with Tobias Harris. He's been in the East and the West.
I'll take Tobias over Al Horford. You can't name nobody.
On the East with
on
LeBron
the
though.
West.
No, but that's the West. But Tobias been in the East and the West, and he ain't making it neither. Chris Middleton should have been an All-Star last year, so I give you that one. Tobias was hooping on Detroit, but he still shouldn't have been an All-Star.
He could have started. I mean, he could have played over Al Horford. You can't name nobody that C.J. McCollum can play over in
That's
the
just
West.
because he
I mean,
in
that's
the
in the
West.
But that's
though.
what it is, though.
But if he was in the East,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think McCollum's better than DeMar DeRozan.
Period.
And what about Bradley Beal? Are we putting him on Bradley Beal?
C.J. McCollum better than Lowry?
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
He is.
It's debatable. It's
I mean,
debatable.
You can argue
It's
CJ
debatable.
Bradley.
He's better
Beal.
than Al Horford.
I mean-
Yeah, he's better Al.
Al Horford is a
But,
dog.
hold on, let's not underrate Al Horford. He's a good
No,
player.
he's a dog.
he
he's
can
a dog.
he can switch.
I
in
think, but I
multiple
think ultimately we just had like different, like, because I was just thinking about like Kawhi don't get enough shine, even though people
Bro,
get
he
top
gets-
five player.
we have his laugh.
He's unanimously considered a
Say
top
his laugh
10.
one more time, bro.
Kawhi laugh. We know that laugh, bro. That's Kawhi laugh. So,
You sure?
but
That's it.
we gonna move on from most underrated. Let's talk about some potential borderline playoff teams. These are teams that are good, but they might just miss the playoffs because it's teams that are slightly better than them, or they just might not have enough to make it. So, in particular, in the Western Conference, what do you all think of some teams that might miss the playoffs? We're gonna start with Millz here. Did you have a couple teams maybe that are really good? They might have made the playoffs last year, but this year you're not as confident in them as much. Or what teams do you think might miss the playoffs this year?
I'm just gonna go based off last year. I got the Spurs missing it, and I got Portland missing it, man.
And why you say that?
Cause they don't have a third option, and it's like the West just got tougher. And I honestly can see a team that didn't making it over them. Like Portland, I give it to them. They are a good regular season team, but in the playoffs they're not gonna do shit. And then it's like the Spurs, it's just too many injuries.
Yeah.
And I feel like they made what, 8th seed?
They were 7th last year. Right?
So I got the Nuggets taking their spot in the Lakers. So it's like, that's how I feel, bro. Like the Portland.
So you think
Good luck.
So you
but
think Pelicans
So
still
who
make
you
it?
got in? You got the Pelicans in or
I got
Nuggets?
I got the Nuggets in and the Lakers. That's gonna take
Nuggets
the
and
Spurs in Portland.
Portland was third seed though.
They were
Right.
third.
But
So
they
you
were
take-
third
You
seed.
taking?
It was
They
close.
was
though. It
third
was really
seed
close.
about what, 2 games?
So you keep
Yeah.
the Pelicans in them.
You got,
Yeah, I got
you got
the
AD making it right.
AD is not. This AD we talking about, bro.
Yeah.
He can drop
He's
40
top five,
for a
man.
season. Like that's if he had to, if his life was on the line. We need 60. He gonna go 60.
60.
I ain't gonna go
He
there.
said,
A game, like, okay, if it was one game and they was down 15 and he had to just shoot all balls, I got faith in AD. I ain't got that same faith in LaMarcus.
No, he's way better than
This
Lamar.
is why I just say that it's just like they still have 2 All-Stars and the best coach in the league.
So do every other team in the West.
No,
Not the best
coach in the
coach,
league.
but they got 2
You
All-Stars.
gotta have at least 2 in the West.
That's
What?
period. Every
Have
other
to.
team do.
You have to.
is DeMar better than Drew Holiday?
Shoot, I mean, I guess Gobert, but the Jazz really didn't have 2
They
All-Stars.
have
Yeah,
a
Donovan Mitchell.
potential Hall of Fame.
You keep saying this Hall of Fame.
Potential.
I mean, we said potential Hall of Fame.
He's gonna go down this top 5.
He's definitely got potential.
If he don't get injured.
For the season?
Bro, he
a lot of
averaged a dub.
Mike,
his first
so
year.
you saying he gonna get worse?
Right, bro, like the nigga is that.
So this is what I want to say to y'all. One season don't determine play. Tyreek Evans is a clear example of this.
Bro,
Rookie of the
Tyreek
year.
Evans didn't do what Donovan
Right.
Mitchell did.
How much he averaged as rookie of Kori?
20 plus. 5.
How much did Donovan Mitchell average?
Was he that athletic? No.
Bro, it don't matter though.
What
I'm
you
trying
mean?
to
That
tell
got a
y'all,
lot to do with it,
rookie of the year in the Western Conference for a bad franchise.
Tyreek Evans was rookie.
So what
of
you
the
said?
We
What's gonna
only
happen?
thought he was
But he
gonna
came
get
in
better
with
because
Rose.
he was gonna make other people
He
better.
came in with D-Rose.
He might have been rookie of the year, but he had a really
No,
good
he was
year.
before that. He was.
I
No.
remember.
Tyreek won rookie of the year, G.
Tyreek Evans and Donovan Mitchell is 2 different
Yeah,
players.
it's 2 different. I mean,
I'm,
one
the
player
point
played-
I'm trying to make is
but you
one
talking
year
about-
don't
You can
say
see the
everything.
talent in Donovan
you
Mitchell.
talking about
Let's not
garbage
be
buckets,
blind
though.
But
here.
I'm just saying he's saying Hall of Fame already though.
No, I
No,
said
we're not
potential.
potential Hall of Fame.
Potential Hall of Fame.
Even
I
though 1 year, I think that's blasphemous, bro.
You talking about
Bro, you
potential
just
though,
put out
bro?
the thunder. What you mean? Like
Potential.
You can't contradict yourself now.
bro.
I ain't never said, bro.
He's the king of
I'm
contradictions.
not
He
counting.
done did it about 3 times.
How,
already.
bro? How?
Bro, you can't on one hand say
What?
Melo is the reason why the Thunder, and then you gonna say on the other hand that Tyreek Evans is not like, bro.
No, I didn't say he did. No, I think they're missing the point. We talk about a 1 year saying he has potential to be Hall of Fame worthy.
Yes.
That's what people said about D-Wade. That's what
Bro.
people said about Melo.
Time out.
People said the
Do you
same
know
thing
who's
about
in the Hall of
Ben
Fame?
Simmons.
It's a lot of niggas that
Red
snuck
Miller
in
made the
there.
Hall of Fame. Let's talk
It's
about
a
it.
lot of
Come on,
niggas that
man.
snuck in there.
Let's talk about it.
I guess if y'all talk about these, when I think of Hall of Fame as more as a like.
You know what Hall of Fame is, man.
Not necessarily.
Like
Who do you have
Howard.
missing the playoffs?
You know?
Who do you have missing the playoffs?
Right, in the West.
I have Pelicans missing the playoffs.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, with the Spurs? Or
Yeah, I'm the Spurs.
even with all the injuries?
Yeah, because I think ultimately they have too many people in the front court.
Bro.
And they're gonna have to figure it out.
Drew Holiday can stick DeMar DeRozan. Anthony Davis is that much better than LaMarcus Aldridge.
I understand that, but I just don't think they have the pieces to fit.
And Mirotic.
Nico?
And Julius
Is
Randle.
Julius Randle?
But who is
Each one more.
who is the point guard on that team?
Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
He's a
Iverson Payton.
scorer,
Iverson
but
Payton.
who's
No,
going
he
to
has poise, and he definitely got damage. You seen what he did in the preseason
Bro,
behind the net.
I understand that, but I'm
Come
trying
on,
to say
bro.
they were winning because of Drew Holiday and playoff Rondo. That's why they eliminated the third seed.
But how did they get to the playoffs?
because of AD.
Okay.
He's still
But
there.
yeah, but
He's still there.
Boogie was there half the season.
Boogie was there.
He's
But they
gone.
played better without Boogie, though, right?
But
We all agree with that.
And
Bro.
they did.
Mirotic was hooping without
But
Bro.
now he gonna have limited
Okay,
minutes
no,
because
no,
the
no.
front court is loaded.
This is what I'm telling you. If the Pelicans swept the third seed,
They swept the Blazers.
so wait,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
better. They're better than the third seed. Why don't you have Portland missing the
That
playoffs?
was my second team.
Okay.
You got Portland and Pelicans.
Yeah.
So
So
who
you
you
got
got
Spurs
second?
making it.
Who you
and,
got?
and who else?
And the Lakers.
Let's not forget.
I'm not gonna
Let's
take.
not forget the ultimate floor general is not on the Pelicans no more. We seen
Yeah.
what he did with the Bulls.
Yeah,
let's go.
that's what I'm saying.
So not
Who?
I'm not
Rondo.
Rondo.
Talking about Rondo.
I think
Wait, time out. Let me just go on record. If Isaiah Thomas' sister don't die, God rest the dead, rest in peace, God bless. They're getting swept. Period.
The Celtics.
you think he was just
Exactly.
out of it. You know, you
Hell
think.
yeah.
That's my point.
The
But
whole
Rondo was
team
hooping.
with morale was down. Like, nigga,
That's-
are you finna play? You don't even need to be playing right now.
Oh, he's why they gonna sweep the Bulls.
Yes, they would have swept the Bulls.
They
Hell yeah, they would have swept
They
the
was
Bulls.
down 2-0 before the.
And then what happened?
Before Rondo got hurt.
What happened?
Rondo got hurt.
Wait, time out. What happened after that?
They lost
Full
what,
straight. Exactly, bro.
But Rondo was out though. That's what was his value, right?
Bro.
Jimmy Butler was there too.
You seen the dysfunction of the team.
But how much was it?
Rondo out.
But I understand Mike's point because IT was an MVP candidate.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And
Like,
he wasn't even hooping at all.
your sister passed the
Yeah, I know
bro.
it's
Like,
huge.
I understand that.
I'm not knocking
But,
that.
but basically, yeah, I have the Pelicans and the Blazers simply because the third seed got swept last year, and the Pelicans team doesn't look better to me because they front court has Jahir Okafor, Nico, Randall, and AD. They all gonna split minutes.
No, they not. AD not splitting minutes with
Nobody
nobody.
splitting
But even with those other three, they're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
okay.
They
It's
deserve
okay,
to split,
bro.
Okafor not that good.
Right,
He's
over
decent.
not that good.
Bro,
He just got on the
Okafor,
roster.
he just got injured. Ain't he out for the season?
No, he said.
What? How long he out for?
I don't think is he injured.
He injured.
Julius
He
Randle.
lost. He got injured against the Bulls.
I'm not
Julius Randle needs someone to get him the ball to score. Period.
Drew Holiday. Eton Moore.
Etwan Moore. You talking about Etwan Moore?
I got faith.
Come on, stop. Stop this, please. Stop the madness.
No, but hold on. They got Alfred Payton. I'm not a fan of Alfred Payton.
Nigga,
I'm not a fan. Listen,
No,
I'm
they
not a
got
fan
what's
of
that
Alfred
from
Payton.
the Warriors? What's brother name?
Ian Clark.
Ian Clark.
Bum ass. You know how I feel about his weak
He's
ass.
okay.
G League player.
Average, you got it.
And the G League.
But we all know the Pelicans revolve around Anthony Davis, so
Right, bro.
if he's great, I see no reason why they can't make the playoffs. Especially with the Spurs having so many injuries. You still think they're gonna make it though, right?
You got Pop. You got 2 All-Stars. Plus you got people who
I'm
ain't
gonna be
been.
100 with you. Pop
Pop to me
is
is
their
dope.
best option, bro.
He's
Because
dope.
Lamar and LaMarcus, I'm taking Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis every day. Every day of the week. I'm taking
right.
them two.
Okay,
over.
Killah Bran.
Let's go. All right,
Playoff teams that's gonna miss it.
Golden. I'm finna just name them because
Okay. Golden State, Houston.
Golden State, Houston. Let's get them out the way. Third seed gonna be a toss up, but I'm gonna just go OKC right there.
Okay. Lakers.
I'm gonna wait on them. But they
Utah.
probably gonna be in there.
You disrespectful.
Utah, Denver. That's 5.
You got Denver at 5?
No, I'm just naming. After 3, I'm just naming the teams. Utah, Denver. I'm putting Portland in there. They overachieved in the West. They be hooping. It don't matter if they got swept. They made the playoffs. They gonna make the playoffs.
It matters.
They gonna make it again, though.
The reason why it do matter is because the Nuggets just missed it, and it was so close.
Play-in game.
Yeah, so that's why. And then
team
LeBron
they
got
lost-
added to this conference,
The
so
only
it do
team
matter.
we
The
not
Nuggets
mentioning-
just missed it because they didn't play well.
Minnesota
But-
might not make it.
Oh
They
yeah,
ain't
they
got-
did
I
make
said
it.
that.
Oh yeah.
He ain't got Jimmy
Oh, I didn't even think about them.
either. Yeah, that's the team, bro.
That's the team.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the team.
And low key, I don't know. I feel like Dallas might have a little breakout season, bro.
I agree with you.
Hey, you know what?
I agree with you.
I think Dallas kind of underrated because they got DeAndre Jordan now.
I got Dennis Smith.
But Millz said
Crazy.
Luka Doncic was overrated, so we got to have a
I was
conversation.
just playing.
Okay, you
I
playing,
got
right?
faith. I got faith in Doncic.
Okay, but
Even though
Dallas
Brooks
is
playing.
they could be a low key good
Luke
team.
looking nice.
He looking nice.
He
and
looking nice.
Dennis Smith's going in the second
I
year.
got Dennis Smith going crazy.
I like Dennis. I think he gonna have a breakout year this year.
I think he gotta be. I think he gonna go crazy, but I don't think he gonna go stupid like
I got
that.
like most
Mainly because I think
improved.
he got options on his team now. I think he gonna have to be a
They
facilitator.
have a nice
They
squad.
got-
They got
It's
a
a
nice
little
decent
team,
squad, bro.
Like,
And
they
they young,
the
and
White
they,
Powell.
Wesley
Like,
Matthews.
and they got Rick Carlisle. He a smart
Yeah,
coach.
Rick Carlisle.
They got some. They
But
got some
I'm
players.
still not putting him in the playoffs. Me,
Harrison Barnes. He can
Yeah,
get you
Harrison
16,
Barnes.
18.
Yeah.
Getting 18.
But me personally, I think that Spurs gonna miss the playoffs.
I don't think the Spurs.
It hurts me to say. I mean, to me, Greg Popovich is the greatest coach of all time. But if he pulls this off, it only adds to his legacy. But they just have so many injuries, in particular with DeJounte Murray. Their starting point guard is out for the season. Lonnie Walker's gonna miss the first couple of months.
Tony
Rudy
Parker's
Gay is
gone.
in with injury. Tony Parker's gone. Ginobili retired. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard, they traded Kawhi Leonard. Now, I like DeMar DeRozan. He's a good player. I'm not knocking him. But he's not Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? So, I just think the Spurs have a huge obstacle to overcome, definitely with the injuries and dealing with the new personnel. You know, they don't have a lot of the veteran players that they had in previous years, in particular with Ginobili and Tony Parker. So, Spurs are going to have an uphill battle to overcome to make the playoffs. I'm going to put the Pelicans in the playoffs, actually. I originally had them out. But with the Spurs having so many injuries, I'm going to replace the Spurs with the Pelicans. The Blazers, I'm not so certain about them. I mean, Lillard and McCollum,
Yeah, bro.
yes, they were the 3rd seed last year. They did get swept by the Pelicans, but I just don't know if they can put it together again in a tougher way. I think
trade for Jimmy.
with LeBron coming to the West, we know the Lakers are going to be up there in the playoff season, and I'm just not certain about the Pelicans. In particular, I think the Nuggets got better. It's just a lot of other teams. The Pelicans added Julius Randle. I think they made more moves than the Pelicans did. The Blazers did. The Blazers, they added Seth Curry. They added Gary Trent Jr. They lost Ed Davis. So I don't think they really got a lot better.
I forgot about Minnesota, though. I ain't even going to stunt.
Yeah, and Minnesota, you already know how I feel about Minnesota. I never said he's going to make the playoffs to begin with because I predicted that Jimmy would get traded before the season even started.
Yeah.
So
I'm
not sold.
Jimmy
changed to
D Rose.
Minnesota.
D Rose, what?
I think the Minnesota team is a little bit slept on. They was hooping, even though Wiggins not that good. They was hooping. You know,
No Jimmy.
Oh,
Do you think Jimmy's
trash, bro?
You think Jimmy's gonna stay though?
Bro, if he stay, then they probably gonna make the playoffs. And they trade him, they gonna get some assets that's gonna hoop.
Jimmy, first off, we gotta look at Minnesota at this point as Jimmy not playing because he's not even playing preseason. Then it's like, okay,
Look
who
at
would
the chemistry,
make it
bro.
over? And the only other team that they made it over was Denver. Without Jimmy, I don't see that happen.
Right.
But if they didn't
made
add
it
Jimmy,
off of
let's
one
say
game.
if they traded Jimmy, I like Denver. So I wanted Denver to make it over the Timberwolves. I didn't really care too much for the Timberwolves at the time. I wanted them to make it. But anyways, if you trade Jimmy Butler, get 2 hoopers, that's probably always gonna get 2 hoopers and maybe a pick if you lucky.
That ain't gonna get it done.
It might if Karl Anthony Towns got better.
Garbage buckets.
Garbage buckets got Towns.
Andrew Wiggins,
Mills get garbage
If
before Jimmy
Jimmy's
got
gone,
there.
if Jimmy's gone, Wiggins is the second option.
Let's just think about this. Before Jimmy got there, Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins played together. They did nothing. Trash. Garbage buckets, bro.
I mean,
It's over with.
he was on Minnesota with
I got Dallas.
Tyler Tillman though, y'all say Tyler Tillman.
I got Dallas having a better.
I think
record
Dallas
than
is a year
Minnesota.
away, but I respect Dallas. So.
I got
Dallas might be a year away, but
And you know who else we sleeping on? Who might make it? Even though this kind of
Clippers.
contradicts
They kind of
everything
sleep
I
on the
said.
Clippers.
Grizzlies might make it.
Oh wait,
They
hold
don't
up,
got
time
no
out.
2 guard though.
Okay, time out. How you got the Grizzlies possibly making it, but you said Mike Conley was the
Conley.
most overrated player? That's contradicting.
Can I
Go ahead.
explain? Mike Conley is overrated simply because he's not playing up to the contract.
Okay.
He can play.
He can play. But
He
he's
can play and make it playoff worthy, but as far as 150 million, no,
You
hell
think
no.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is enough?
he got Dito though.
They got
Part of that contract is his
I mean,
defense.
they got
Michael
Gasol,
Green. Who else
Jaren
on there?
Jackson Jr., Michael Green,
Nobody else.
Chandler Parsons,
Chandler Parsons,
Conley,
he's trash. But
Ben McLemore. I think is he
No,
went back to the
King.
King. He went back to the King.
They got Temple now.
Yeah, Garrett Temple.
Bum.
I got them being better than
I don't know, man. Rouse is not great,
Timberwolves too.
Yeah.
but
Memphis being bad.
Memphis better
Well,
than
They ain't
Timberwolves.
got no 2 guard at all though.
I mean,
Like,
he
nobody.
need to do the Pelicans.
They got somebody over there who shoot. Who the Quincy Pond actually play for? New Orleans.
That's yeah.
Lil Okafor, he sprained his ankle, so
Okay,
he gonna be back.
he gonna be back. That's a sprain.
He gonna be back.
Like a
They
sprain.
got
ankle.
too many front court people, bro, and they gonna try to split minutes. for all
Jaleel
of them.
Okafor was just playing at
Right. He
the
just got
rec.
back into the
He
league,
was just
bro.
playing at the rec.
He's not gonna play more than Julius Randle,
He's not right.
I
Miritich,
understand
or
that.
Davis.
I understand.
He's not playing
but
with nobody.
He's playing sparing.
He's not taking minutes from nobody.
nobody, bro.
I mean, he
Nobody.
was at the crib.
Julius
Why
Randle
would he
started.
go?
Julius Randle started.
He might come
On
off
what
the bench.
team?
He started on the Pelicans, and they preseason when
Oh, you
they
said Julius
preseason?
Randle.
yeah he started
Oh.
over Nico,
I thought
and
you
I
were
think
saying,
that's gonna mess with space.
I think they should start
I believe that
Miritich
too. I think Miritich should start.
I think he should start.
Miritich
If,
should
if
start.
Randle does
But
start,
Julius Randle is a better player, so that's why I just
yeah, he's
think.
a better player. But
it's-
we're talking about fit, though.
But that's
You know
why
what
I
I'm saying?
think they gonna have trouble winning games in the front phases
Miritich
because.
was hooping.
But he not starting right now, and when they first was rolling it out, Julius Randle was the focus. He a better
Who was
player
that
than Mitchell.
coach? Alvin Gentry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you winning your one-on-one matchup, he gonna go with the #1 player until he see it's
I
not
don't
working,
see-
and that's gonna cost them wins. And in such tight conference, that can cost them to miss it.
But look, I don't see Julius Randle as no guaranteed starter. Like the nigga, he might
start
come off the
15
bench.
games.
Yeah, he might come off the bench some games. So
Did you say he'll start?
Yeah.
15 games.
I mean, Mirotic stretches the floor. You know, so he's a better fit with Anthony Davis.
I think he's a better fit. I just know Julius was starting, and I don't think that's the right move.
Yeah.
And based on all those front court people, it's going to
I
cost
can
them.
agree with that.
It's going to cost them
with
wins.
that. I agree with that.
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
You don't want a preseason?
Yeah, let's talk about preseason actually. Is there any surprises in preseason that caught? Let me start with this actually. To me, I watched all the Lakers preseason games.
Oh, gosh.
I watched them. Oh,
God.
I watched all Lakers preseason games. So let me just say a couple comments about the Lakers real quick. I think Brandon Ingram is pretty good.
Finally.
I think he's clearly made himself the second option
Shout
on
out
the
to
team.
Brandon Ingram. Man.
Right, shout out to Brandon Ingram. I
Second
think he's clearly the second option.
He's
behind
better.
hold on.
behind LeBron.
Behind LeBron James? Not Kuzma?
He's better than
I think he's the
Kuzma.
second option, bro.
He's better than
He's played better defense.
Always been better than Kuzma.
I mean, the defense don't
Kuzma
make
just
you
been a
the
gun.
And
offensive
plus,
option.
Kuzma coming off the bench, so he probably gonna close games.
The better question who's a third option because it's like
To me, okay, this might be controversial, but I think Lonzo is more valuable than Kyle Kuzma.
Oh no!
Now, everybody might disagree with that.
Oh hell no! Can you press it?
Oh, yeah, no. Now, everybody might disagree with that, but
Oh, hell no!
All right, listen. The only reason why I'm gonna disagree with that this year, I want to say last year. I'm gonna say Lonzo can't score. You know, he can't score, but his value comes with his IQ. This year, you got Rondo and LeBron. That IQ is gonna be carried with them. It's not that valuable this year. So this year, he's kind of gonna be the odd man out.
I think he's gonna start though. Honestly,
Lonzo.
I mean, if he start, but he gonna have to find a way to score because you got LeBron and Rondo now. Those are 2 point guards. So now it's like you got 3 people that play the same way, and you got Rondo who's more IQ than Lonzo, and then you got LeBron who got the IQ and the scoring. What you gonna do?
I think
Go ahead, yes.
Lonzo is spotting up.
Spike it up.
Let me tell you why I think Lonzo's.
What else is he gonna do?
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think he's the third most valuable because y'all missing one key point. I agree, Lonzo and Rondo are kind of redundant because they both are playmakers first. And Rondo, of course, he's a veteran. He has more experience than Lonzo, and his basketball IQ is the top of the league. But I still think Lonzo should start in particular because he's one of the best defensive guards in the league. He has the potential.
Ball?
This is
Lonzo
so
Ball.
crazy.
Lonzo is a better defender than Rondo.
No one was even talking about these niggas last year.
But listen though, Lonzo has the potential to be first team all defense. I'm serious. He's 6'6" at point guard. You know what I'm saying? He can guard shooting guards. He can guard Klay Thompson for stretches. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need him to do. So
And probably get cooked.
I say potential. He had
gonna guard him
potential.
and get cooked.
He was ranked one of the top guards last year as a rookie in defensive rating. You know what I'm saying? So I think Lonzo is special to me. I know he received a lot of hate because of LeVar Ball and the hype that was heaped upon him.
B.
Right, Triple B, Big Baller brand. Shout out to them.
I heard they gotta cover up that logo now.
Yeah, same thing with J.R. Smith covering up Supreme.
Shit,
The
crazy.
league wants Lonzo to cover up the Big Baller brand logo because they don't get paid off of it. Basically, we're gonna keep it honest.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think Lonzo. I like Kyle Kuzma in the game. Don't get me wrong. Last year, I was kind of under the belief he was the best rookie. But the more I look at it, I think Lonzo Ball is just more valuable because of his defensive potential and his playmaking ability. He may not get the most assists on the team, but a lot of the stuff that he does, they don't show up in the box score. You know what I'm saying? He passes the ball up the court
1,000 times.
Right.
You don't get assists when you pass it 1,000 times. And
But he's not ball dumb though. That's what I'm saying. He gets the ball out and he makes the right play. And he's a very smart player for such a young age. You know what I'm saying? Being a rookie last year, I think he's ahead of the game as far as his basketball IQ.
I like Lonzo, but I got Kyle Kuzma.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I can't argue with that.
I feel like Lonzo's play, I think he's a good player. I think he's extremely too passive. You know, you 6'6", he's athletic. I mean, he got a good dribble with the ball.
Now,
I mean, he had a good dribble before.
And he put on a lot of weight.
He put on a lot of weight.
He put on some weight. I feel like
focus this
he
year
has to been a
was
little
ball
bit.
handling and weight. His
You
moves.
got to be a little bit more aggressive though. Like it's times where it seemed like he got aggressive. The only time I really seen him get aggressive when his shot was falling. But when his shot wasn't falling, he passed the ball way too much, and he got his little 7 assists. Like he overpasses the ball. Like you'll pass it up to somebody that wasn't even open. And most times you pass somebody that had a little bit of space. So you're going to make the right play by passing the ball. You just pass it too much.
So this was your preseason surprise, LeBron?
No, I'm saying, in particular with the Lakers, I think Ingram has solidified himself as the number 2 option.
Wait, is LeBron starting at the 4?
No.
LeBron and Ingram start.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know.
Yes, he was a 4.
It's
He's
really
a
positionless.
Yeah.
But I understand that, but is he starting at the 4?
To me personally, he's a 4.
He's a
but
4,
they
yeah.
list Ingram as a 4. But to me, LeBron's a 4. And JaVale starts at the center. And then Ingram is out there. So I think Ingram is the second option. Clearly.
It's just 2 forwards, pretty much. It's like, who gonna guard who?
Yeah, and just one more takeaway. Aside from the Lakers, DeAndre Ayton looked like the real deal to me. He was putting up 20 and 10 in 4 straight preseason games. He had one bad preseason game, but
Garbage.
he looked like the number 1 pick to me.
How many wins they have?
How many minutes?
How many wins did
The
they
wins? I'm not sure about the wins, but we're talking about preseason, so I don't really count wins. I'm talking about production. And Aiden was putting up some big numbers. He looked like the number 1 pick, you know what I'm saying? And also Luka Doncic was impressive to me in the games that I've seen with the Dallas Mavericks. So who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Millz.
It ain't a surprise to me, but who I have, what would be a surprise to like somebody who's not the casual Bulls fan? Jabari Parker coming off the bench. I agree with the move for now. I feel like he can earn that spot back, but it was a surprise to a lot of people. I actually went to the game yesterday. He had his best preseason game. He played 31 minutes, had 19 points, but you still get that feeling like he's a little too passive. He's not like going out there. You said what?
Who's the starting
Who
3?
starts?
Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Justin Holiday at the 3.
And they did
Bobby
draft
Portis.
Chandler Hutchinson too.
Yeah,
Don't
Bobby
forget him.
Portis and Wendell. So that'll be a surprise to a lot of people. I think he'll still get that spot back, but as of now, I like the way that it looks. And I feel like if he just comes out and be aggressive, stop thinking, be a little more selfish and just shoot either threes or go to the hole because you're either faster or bigger than the man that's guarding you, he can get that spot. And my second preseason surprise or whatever is I like the way Miles Bridges look, bro.
Oh, he took mine.
I
Damn.
like the way Miles
That's
Bridges
Yeah,
look,
he took
bro.
mine.
I think
I didn't-
Jordan finally got it right, bro.
I didn't think he was that athletic. I didn't think he was that. I didn't think he was that. So when I saw him play against the Bulls, he was jumping out the gym. He kind of
he's
reminded me
athletic, for
of Jason Tatum, not just because they both got number 0, but I just like the way he goes about his business. So I feel like he, if somebody gets injured, Nicholas Batum, God forbid you get injured, but if somebody gets injured at that 3-4 spot, I feel like he could take that role and make some noise. So.
Let me go. So
Chigerian.
just kind of piggybacking off that, my preseason surprise for a player individually was Miles Bridges. Actually had his stats. He had a 14-6 game first game versus Miami. He was jumping out the gym versus Chicago. He didn't put up a lot of stats, but he just he was doing everything on the floor, blocking shots and things like that. And in Dallas, he had a 13-7 game. So he just a solid overall
How
young
many
player.
minutes was he at? Do you got
I don't really got the minutes
He wasn't
right now,
playing
but he
too
wasn't
many
playing
minutes,
too much
yeah.
because Nicholas Batum was starting anyway.
Exactly.
But they kind of need to move on from Nicholas Batum anyway
That
because
contract.
not necessarily trade him, but they might just need to go towards a young movement because I believe in Malik Monk too because he can space the floor a little bit different. But Jeremy Lamb, I don't know. Jeremy Lamb was shooting good from 3 too, so I
he
think
looked like he improved.
Yeah, Jeremy Lamb looked good.
Yeah, he looked good.
Malik Monk forgot his jersey.
He looked like he been in the gym sweating.
Yeah,
Bruh.
so that's a little thing. But my preseason surprise team, it kind of shocked me. Was the Bucks? Bucks blew out everybody in the preseason. That coach,
Hey, Mike Budenholzer deserves some credit.
he's
He's a good coach to me.
He's amazing. They beat the Bulls 116-82. They beat the Timberwolves 125-107, but that was kind of just getting close towards the end. And they lost to the Thunder, but they last game versus the Timberwolves, they played the game. They put over 143 points
Yeah, I saw that.
with not a lot of 3-point shooting.
How many minutes was Giannis playing?
Giannis played 25 minutes.
He wasn't playing a lot.
He played 25 minutes, had
Every
32,
highlight I
10.
seen, he was dunking on somebody.
He had 32, 10, and 12 in
Giannis
25
is a
minutes.
potential MVP candidate.
And that's simply
Not
because
potential. He's my MVP.
He might be the favorite.
He's
that
my
coach,
MVP.
he puts people in positions to like get wide open layups,
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Mike Budenholzer seems like he tells everybody on the court, go to the hole
Mhm.
and kick it to the corner.
right.
And we seen
That's
what he
it.
did with the
That's
Atlanta
all y'all
Hawks.
gotta do.
The Hawks
Yeah,
had some of
that's
their
all
best
y'all gotta
years
do. Yeah.
with Mike Budenholzer.
I actually, this side note, I played somebody on 2K and they dogged my ass with Milwaukee. That's all they did was drive. And I didn't know they had shooters like that. So I was leaving people open like DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
They got some other. It's a dude with an afro. He like caramel skin. I don't know. He just got a burner though. But
Yeah.
Oh, Brogdon?
no, not Brogdon. It's somebody else that come off the bench. I think his last name Williams or something. But
Not sure.
they got shooters over there. So
Yeah, so those are my two preseason surprises.
They gonna be-
Yeah. But I got them third seed.
Milwaukee, yeah. I can't disagree.
What about you, Killah Bran? You got anything you seen in the preseason that kind of surprised you?
Kind of balance back to what I said earlier. I mean, I knew he was nice before, but he looked NBA ready. Not even NBA ready. Like he NBA ready, but it's like it seems like he already got it. Kind of like how Donovan Mitchell came to the league, Jason Tatum came to the league. It's like he already got it. There was no adjusting. But Luke, I mean, it seemed like
Luka Doncic.
it seemed like it seemed like he's already there. It's like he's
Nice.
not in veteran mode, but it's like I feel like with that addition with Dennis Smith, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised with Dallas. I mean, they overachievers in Dallas. We know that Rick Carlisle, the coach. I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck their way in the playoffs in the West.
Over who though? Make it interesting.
Yeah.
Over who? I mean, it's gonna be tough. You
It's
know how
gonna
the
be
West
a last-
is. It's
a
gonna
last-
be. It's 7-8.
It's gonna be
7-8, but it's gonna be either 7-8 is gonna be between LA,
Clippers?
Denver,
Can't talk about the Lakers.
huh?
Clippers?
Nah,
Lakers?
You got the Lakers at 7 8.
Oh no, you tweaking.
Disrespectful.
LA, Denver, Portland, and Minnesota.
Listen here, bro.
Right, yeah. The man's been a
What you
little.
say about Joker?
But nah, I got Dallas doing good things this
Yeah,
year.
it can be ninth. It can be ninth right
Who
there.
would you have them over? This,
Who, Dallas?
yeah. If
I
you
say
had to pick one
7-8.
team,
I
just
mean,
pick one team. Who would you have them over?
I'm gonna give him 8. I ain't gonna put him over nobody
Yeah.
with Dallas. I'm gonna give him 8.
So somebody got to come out because they weren't there last year.
Timberwolves.
Oh, okay. Well, Timberwolves.
So, but
Timberwolves.
you got
I
Nuggets
mean,
making it?
Timberwolves. Or if something happens with Denver, I don't really see them being better than Denver. I'm not even gonna say Denver. They may not make it. I said sneak in there. If they don't sneak in there, they gonna sneak in there over the Timberwolves. I see Denver getting in the playoffs this year. They got They got the same team. They all probably got better. Gary Harris, Jamal Murray. He gonna come back better.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
He get the truth.
And they got Splash
Jamal
Bros
Murray,
too
the truth.
with Gary Harris.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, if Gary
Will
Harris
Barton
is
is
sick-
low key one of the most slept on 6 mans in the league.
Who? Will Barton?
Barton.
Will Barton.
He could play.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think, and this can end it. I think Tobias Harris in that range, like Will Barton.
Will Barton?
Yeah.
I think he
Will
was
Barton is
Will
just.
Barton.
I like Will
He
Barton.
can play.
Wait a minute. When you think
He can
about
play, though.
Will Barton is a starter though. Like when you.
Yeah, like he can. It's not a shot on Tobias
Ginobili.
Harris. Yeah, I
He's
think
not
He
starting.
started, but
He's not starting. But he's a starter though. Like
he better than a lot of
Yeah,
teams.
he embraces his role.
thought he was a
But when
three.
he comes in the game, he's a playmaker. He's not just a scorer.
He
Will
got a
Barton
scrub
can
and
pass.
all, yeah.
Who's they 30?
It was.
They traded Wilson Chandler.
I think Will started.
They got Michael Porter Jr.
He don't play.
But he's not gonna play.
I thought
He might.
I
I
thought-
Still
forgot.
got Paul
Wilson Chandler
Millsap.
definitely-
I don't know.
Wilson
He got
Chandler on
injured.
OKC now.
No, he got injured. He injured.
Wilson Chandler is on a different team.
He on the Sixers.
He on the Sixers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He on the Sixers.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
But
it's
he
not a
did get
slight,
injured,
but
though.
I
He
think
still
it's
got,
just good. But I
Malik
don't know if
Beasley.
he's like,
Who? Tobias?
yeah.
Bro,
I
20
like
points a game.
Tobias is good, bro.
We gonna come back to Tobias. We gonna come back to Zach.
On Tobias.
Who else was y'all talking
I
crazy
said Chris
about?
Middleton.
No, but I agree on Chris.
He talking crazy, bro.
I like Tobias.
I
Bro.
like
I'm a
Tobias.
fan.
It's not. It's just tiers of the NBA. So I think people be taking this light. I think Chris Middleton is like a clear tier above Tobias. That's all I'm
I feel like
saying.
they're on the same level.
I mean, a tier.
Not the
I mean,
same
what-
level.
They on the same
What's
level.
your tier though?
I
If
think
Chris
there's.
Middleton is an 85, Tobias Harris is an 84.
Yeah. I agree.
We're not using 2K as this.
But that's tiers though.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
if you don't have a tier,
this is what I'm doing.
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
borderline over all-stars, and I'm saying
no. Tiers is different though. You got 90 plus, you got 80, 70, however you want your tier to be.
No, because
you can't have tiers 84, 83,
because there could be so many. Like using your example, there could be so many 85s, and then you can have an 83.
They all in the same.
Jason Tatum's an 87, right? On 2K this year, but I'm not sure what Lou Williams' record is, but Jason Tatum gonna make an All-Star before Lou Williams, and
that's why.
I mean, you don't even know that though. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Tatum. It's gonna be tough for Tatum to get into an All-Star. He's gonna be. Jason Tatum may be considered an All-Star
because they get the top.
They get the top seed. They gonna get multiple All-Stars.
I mean, maybe though.
Maybe.
Like maybe.
It's not guaranteed.
It's not. That's kind of just going off Mike saying he was saying the 87. Like you just saying he might struggle to get an All-Star game, but he had 87. Like it's not all going off Tatum. It's not just going off the.
But it don't matter.
That's
like,
why I was saying the tier
I mean,
thing.
Draymond Green made it an All-Star. That don't mean he's a higher tier than more than people that wasn't made an All-Star. They
It's
still
really about
All-Star.
records, bro. Like, if you're a top seed,
Draymond. Wait, hold on. Go back to the Draymond thing. Use an example from that. Give me an example of that. Like, who is in a lower tier that you think is better than Draymond?
People could have replaced Draymond in the All-Star game last year.
Who's
He ain't have to make it. Him or Clay to me. I would put Clay in there over Draymond.
Clay still
Chris Paul didn't make it.
I put Clay in there over
Chris Paul
Draymond.
better than Draymond.
Who? You talking about Mark Jackson?
Chris Paul.
Oh, okay.
Right,
All
Chris
the
Paul
NBA
won the All-Star
first
game
team.
last year, right?
Now, what was the point you was trying to make though? You were saying.
Well, I'm just trying to say is we can't. When you use the rating thing, I just don't think that determines tiers. Honestly,
It kind of do though. That's actually a good point. Like if you go by like what, not even 2K ratings. You can put your own rating on player. Like let's say tier 1. Everybody tier 1. Kawhi, LeBron,
Like a
KD,
94 and up.
KD, 94, 95 and
I
up.
wasn't even that.
What you mean? What are you talking about?
Wasn't it Kawhi 91?
Hell no.
What you
Like
talking
94,
about?
bro? 95. That's what I'm saying. He's not underrated, but what you was saying?
Like if you, that's the best way to put it. Not even 2K ratings, NBA Live. I mean, if you want to put your own rating on a player, fine. But if you want to put ratings on them, make your tiers by your rating. Tier 1, 94 and above. Put your players over there. Tier 2,
So tier
90
1,
to 94.
tier 1 is what? Top 5 players?
Top 10.
Nah, I said
Well,
tier
top-
tier-
top-
Tier
top-
1
top-
is top 5.
top-
Top 5 or
Tier
top
1 is
3.
top 5.
It's either top 5 or top 3.
I think top 5.
Then tier 2 is what?
Tier 1.
11 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So
and
Tobias fall in that 4th
Yeah,
tier.
he's like 3rd or 4th tier.
So that'll be the 19,
Middleton.
the 21 to 15.
Right.
That's a
in
big
there.
tier. I guess so, yeah. That's a big tier.
Mhm.
I was thinking because that.
Okay, but look, you
those-
don't
all those-
believe in Tobias. So who
He
would
don't.
you say is better? You think Lou Williams is better than
you don't
Tobias?
watch the bias. And I
think
know
Mills
this.
is a better player than Tobias.
He's a better scorer for
I
sure.
don't think he's a better player.
Lou Wills.
Since Tobias got dimes, he just rebound more than Lou. He don't
He
pass.
shoots threes, bro. He has
He has a
burner.
burner.
You just said Lou is a better scorer, right?
Yes, he has a burner. Yes, he's a better
Most of the
scorer, but
game is
Tobias
scoring.
also
Lou
has a
Williams ain't
burner.
playing defense.
He's
He's
bigger than him, bro. Like
Yeah,
that
bigger
means a
than
lot in
legit
the
wing,
NBA.
bro.
He's but
They
bigger
mean a lot.
doesn't mean more talented.
But we know who
But
dominates
if you
the
bigger
league.
with less talent, you have
That means
more
you have
ability.
more advantages.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, more advantages.
Means dominate. Look at the best players in the league: Kevin Durant, LeBron, Kawhi. They all small forwards.
Giannis.
Giannis.
At the end of the day, Tobias shouldn't hold up any trades. Get rid of that nigga. Period.
Who?
Yeah, really.
Jimmy.
Yeah. At the end of the day. At the end of the day, he shouldn't hold up any trades.
I think-
Tobias.
I don't think it's a huge difference. But
Yes. Then Jimmy Butler.
I think it's a huge difference. Like I don't think
Jimmy
Jimmy makes the
Butler
Clippers like a
What?
threat.
That's not a threat at all.
KG.
Jimmy Butler by himself on any team is not a threat.
He's not-
On any
I
team.
think
It's more to get.
KG was mad because he.
But it's more to get an all-star caliber player, so another all-star caliber player can
It's
be
more
like,
recruiting.
yeah. People not gonna do that with Tobias.
They're not doing it with Jimmy either.
Right, but they ain't seen him play this year. This is his year.
It don't matter. Even if they don't do it with Tobias, ain't nobody
I feel
going
like
to
he
Jimmy's
can
team,
average
bro.
20
I want
points.
Tobias.
You don't feel like he can give you that?
I'm not saying he won't average 20 points, but Zach LaVine gonna average 20 points. Garbage buckets exist.
You cannot get garbage buckets as a starter, bro. Like that's just
Whoa.
not equivalent, bro.
Whoa.
You're not getting garbage
Whoa.
buckets as a
Can we
starter.
extend this podcast and break down?
Talk about what do you define garbage